I suck at jiu-jitsu? How do I suck less at jiu-jitsu?
I guess to suck less.
And just do it over and over. He knows he gets a laugh.
He should laugh.
Yeah, it's just an old man thing, Kyle. It's not specific to you. So I've got a surprise intro for you guys. Okay, I've never done something like this before. We may be like, I don't know, we may be one ear in, one ear out on the headphones. I'm not sure, but I have a special guest that if he can hear me, let me see. And he wants to talk.
Oh, what's up?
Oh boy.
That's what I'm talking about.
The man.
So I thought the best person to start the podcast wouldn't be me, actually. You know, I thought we could bring on the leader of tag team.
Oh, geez.
Jared. How are you doing today, Jared?
I'm good, Josh. How you guys doing?
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
Great.
Great to see
Now
you.
we're nervous. We're like,
So
On your best behavior.
yeah, now is the time to tell you guys you're in trouble. And Jared is, he's mad. It's a work ethic thing, you know. It's like, he's upset. Jared, what do you got for us, man?
I'm probably like Kyle and Andy.
Have you been hitting some training in, beating some people?
Oh yeah. I had a strong session this morning. Been getting a few days a weekend. I got a really strong crew here that I've been training with. I've been training a lot, been very consistent. I feel good. You know what I mean? I feel good when I'm training, but as soon as I'm done, I don't feel good anymore. As soon as I cool down, like, you know what I mean? Like I feel the age creeping on the big 5-0 in like 2 years. You know what I mean? Like I feel the age and I'm natural. You know what I mean? I'm natural husky. You know, I'm not using any supplements, not using any of the TRT or the juice or any of that stuff. You know what I mean? So like, you know, I'm getting older. We're all getting older. You know what I mean? Our bodies have to adjust. You know, I'm not training like a crazy man the way I used to train. Still train hard, you know, but it's different now. It's definitely different. I'm doing it, you know, for the long haul now. You know what I mean? I'm in it to just kind of be in it as long as I possibly can. Like we've talked about in the past, my focus, I can't speak for you guys, but my focus like has definitely changed to train for more of like a healthy lifestyle for me instead of a competition-based lifestyle anymore. Of course, I'm still hyper competitive when I'm training. I don't want to lose, you know, in competition or training or anything, but now it's just a longevity thing and just trying to stay healthy. And I'll pick and choose my training partners a little wiser now, you know. It is what it is, but you know, I'm sore. We're all sore. All of us are. This is jiu-jitsu. This is what we do, you know, but just try to be smart. I'm smarter about it now, you know.
What are you looking at for when you're saying like you're choosing your training partners better? What does that look like?
That means I'm not looking to clash heads with the gnarliest dudes I can every single round anymore. I have a trusted group of dudes. I always have for the years of like a trusted group of guys that I always train with to help me prepare for the tournaments that I know aren't necessarily going to be an injury risk for me. It's not going to be a street fight right out of the gate, you know, and I'm not shying away from that. None of us are, but you know, I have certain dudes I love to train with that are my favorite training partners that push me and I can push them. And I know it's going to be a good, safe, healthy training session for me at this point, you know, and my training partners. You know, you train with Kyle, he just lays on you for 6 minutes. You know what I mean? Like he stays in your closed guard. That's not an injury risk, especially when a dude doesn't move.
That's called efficiency.
But you don't want to start a round on the feet with him. Because he will, he will injure one of you for sure. You know, he will.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at. Like I said, I'm not picking easy rounds. Don't get me wrong. My rounds are hard, but when I say I'm picking rounds, I mean I'm picking guys that I feel safe with at this point. You know, And if we're in a room where it's a packed room and we're just going competition training, there's no picking, you're just going. And I'm talking on a casual basis, on a training session basis for me, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it kind of stunk. We just had that team day, and it was like just a local one, right, at my gym. But there was, I don't know, I think 120 people there or something. So, and people from all around the area, lots of black belts, lots of great training partners. But I just was like frustrated at the end because I just felt like, normally these things I get so excited about, and I was still excited, but I'll be like, man, I'm going to get a whole bunch of great rounds. And and then anymore, though, I noticed like after a couple of like ones that I pushed the pace, I'm just like, man, my body started like feeling beat up. And then it used to be like, going every round to like, then you're like 1 on 1 off. Then now it's like, I feel like I'm like 1 on 2 off. And it's like everything's hurting. So I just felt like I ended the day kind of like, man, I did way less rounds than normal. I'm like, man, I'm just beat up. But, it is what it is.
And I feel guilty taking 2 off or 1 off because, like, I don't want to be a sideline stalker. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that dude who's like getting my win back while everybody else is pushing hard. Like, I hate when dudes do that. It's like, and then you pick and choose after you get your rest round in. So I like to keep pushing through. But like Kyle, I get what you're saying, man. It starts to take a toll on us as we get older. You know, our bodies react differently at this point. Like, and that's just the truth of the matter. Andy, same with you, right? You're coming off of, yeah.
You took it right. The longevity is the key right now. And I was always one to never turn down a round. That's probably what got me into a lot of my situation anyhow, because I was always pretty much smaller. But now I still, I'll stay in. I protect myself a lot more. And what I notice in myself is I think a little more before my movements, because I used to just kind of go and just kind of react, but sometimes that can put you in a bad spot. And now because I just don't want to go back to where I was in 23 with that injury. And so I'm thinking a little more, and it's actually helping my jiu-jitsu more. I'm slowing it down in my head to make my movement count more. So that's kind of helping me a lot. But you hit it on the head. It's longevity, man. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. That's where I'm at too. Like mentally, physically, that's where I'm at. Like I don't know if I'm going to compete much ever again, or I always say that and I end up jumping back in here and there. But I don't know. I'm not going to be an every weekend guy like I used to be. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be traveling the world, hitting the circuit the way I used to. I'm better off for you guys and my family, healthy and happy, and being able to share jiu-jitsu and teach jiu-jitsu and train jiu-jitsu in one piece at this point, instead of always ailing and wailing, and you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's another thing I'm a little bit, I wouldn't say frustrated with because it's all like positive, but just looking at how much less I compete comparatively. Like it used to be like before the pandemic, I would compete a lot, and then afterwards I kind of slowed down a little bit, and I still told myself, I'm still going to try to do, 3, 4 a year. And I even had aspirations at one point. I thought it'd be really fun to just try to jump in the adult division with Josh sometime. And we joked about that, but I was serious. And I wanted to do it. And then I just noticed that like I've just competed less and less, but also there's a positive to it. I felt like I've gotten a lot more family time, and because a lot of times when you're getting ready for a tournament, I feel like my mind just is always on that. Everything like what you're eating, how you're preparing, how you're resting, it just revolves around your competition. It takes away from family time. So that part's been really, really good. But it's just like last year, I only competed twice. And now it's coming back around. It's been a year since I've competed. I'm just like, man, I feel the itch, but at the same time, I'm also like just kind of enjoying eating what I want, not worrying about it, training kind of leisurely, So it's just kind of give and take,
Mm-hmm. And it's also, I don't know if it's like this for you guys too. If you do, if you're noticing you're removing some athleticism from your jiu-jitsu and getting better timing, you notice yourself getting better, you're like, man, I don't even need to compete then. I don't need to, if I'm noticing that I'm still getting better, you get so much enjoyment out of that from jiu-jitsu. And that's not to say that like I don't still love competing when I do it, but I get the, that feel of every time I'm choosing to compete, it's going to be a weekend gone from my son. It's going to be time away from, and like you said, it's just more training, more focus on the training. And honestly, even my focus in the gym is more about me and less about my students. Absolutely. And so it really is, even though it can be fun for the team, and like, oh, one of our black belts won, one of our coaches won. There's still this level of it feels a lot more selfish than coaching.
Yeah,
I
agree.
and helping people get that experience for themselves.
For sure.
And that's always what brings my satisfaction, just seeing, I sit back and watch the students, hitting the stuff I'm showing. That's my, because myself, I competed, but I would not call myself a competitor by any means. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what led me into my situation, though, was when I did get, hurt pretty bad as I was prepping to compete, because that's when I left, I retired from being a police officer. I retired my second job and was doing the school full time. So I'm like, bet, let's go. Mm-hmm. Time to compete. I have no excuses now. And unfortunately, I was a little older, and that's what kind of led to, getting my injury. So it was a little late, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm still going.
Andy, say that again. Retired from what?
Police officer.
Being what?
Police officer.
Jealous.
You'll be there soon, man. Yeah, you'll be there.
How about this? Here's a good trivia question for Kyle and Andy. Do you remember the last time the three of us were in a division together? I do.
Pan American.
Was it Nogi Pans?
Okay.
No, I think
it wasn't Nogi Pans.
It was Gi.
You got it.
Gi Pans. Because let me tell you a funny story on this, Jared. I remember clearly because I knew you had been, because you're a very good competitor. You know how to do the game. You research, you do your things. I remember you came up to me in the pen. You're like, "Hey, man, you're a copper, aren't you? You're a cop." So and I was like, "Oh shit!" And I was like, because I knew Jared. He's OG. Black. I was like, "Oh shit, he knows who I am." But yeah, that was. I can't remember what year it was, but it wasn't at the pen. It was
what? When?
2000. 2000. It was 2000. Was it 11 or 12?
I think it was 11. I think it was 11.
Holy smokes!
I got my black belt in 2010, and I think
I got mine in 11.
Well,
and my black belt in 11.
Kyle and I both lost to Theodore Canal that year. Didn't we both lose to him first round?
No, I had a match. I won my first match, and I lost him second round, I think.
Okay,
yeah. That dude's tough.
I won my first match too. And then I lost to Theodore second round.
Yeah, I fought a guy named Ting. He was a Machado guy, and I think I lost on points. But
I forgot about that guy. Yeah, that guy was tough.
See, I think he's a doctor now. I think he's like a doctor in Brazil or something. You lost to him way worse than I did, though. I remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that either. It's weird. I don't remember that at all.
I even ran into you, I think, at the airport when we were going home. I think we were in the same terminal, and we kind of shot the bull, because it's so funny how it was just, some years later, that's when we hooked up in Texas.
2012? I'm trying to think about this.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. It might have been 12. It might have been 2012. I think it was 12, because 13 I was out with shoulder surgery. 14 came back. I think it was 12.
No, I think I might have beat him, because actually if it's 12, I lost to Adriano Silva.
Then it was 11 then.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe it was 11. Yeah.
I've been beat a lot. I don't know.
The three of us in the division.
Well, I know it had to be because I got mine in 2010, and that was my first tournament as a black belt, and that was it. I remember seeing you in there. I was like, God damn.
He's like, gosh.
Shit.
Son of a bitch.
It's a good experience, though.
Yeah, absolutely. What did Kyle say?
I just said I was imitating him. He's like, son of a bitch. Like he knew he might fight you.
Yeah.
So you probably realize right now we're not at I Suck at Jiu Jitsu Show studios. We are at the Fuji BJJ Expo, and this was a really cool event to get to do interviews, to get to do hot takes, and just do the I Suck at Jiu Jitsu show in a way that we've never gotten to do before. And that is what I wanted to talk to you guys about right now. We have the I Suck at Jiu Jitsu show experience coming up February 20th through the 22nd. This is at my gym in Granite City, Illinois, Head Nod HQ. And the whole goal of the I Suck at Jiu Jitsu show experience is to take someone who feels like They're training enough, they're consistent, they're working hard to get better at jiu-jitsu, but they still struggle. They still need that cheat code plugged into their game that will help them get better faster than ever. And if you want to do that in 2026, the best way forward is the I Suck at Jiu Jitsu Show experience. It is myself and 7 of the best coaches, black belts that I know, and they are all going to be sharing what they do best. They're going to show you how they learn and how they get better at jiu-jitsu, on top of showing you their absolute best techniques, their best concepts, and their best training methods. And the idea of this is you will immerse yourself in these ideas. You will immerse yourself in jiu-jitsu for an entire weekend. And at the end of it, you will have a path forward. You will have a path forward for probably the next few years, for things to work on, holes in your game that could be fixed, and so much more. And the best part about this is because of the Fuji Expo, we have a coupon code for you. So if you go to checkout and you type in Fuji Expo, you will get $100 off your ticket to the I Suck at Jiu Jitsu Show experience. And our spots are limited. Once we sell out, we're not going to be able to make any more because the gym is just not big enough to hold any more than we have. And so be sure to get your spot now. Let's get back to the episode. Let me ask you guys this. While I have, Jared, I know we don't have a ton more time with you, but this is deep philosophical jiu-jitsu question that I hear asked, and I actually don't have a good answer for. But I know that there is a good answer. I've never been able to verbalize it. So I will see people, especially people from like my generation of jiu-jitsu, guys that got their black belt in their early 20s and are now in their 30s and are black belts. Some of them are school owners. Some of them are just still competitors. But the thing that I will hear is there is no value in a jiu-jitsu association. Like, oh, you should just do your own thing. You shouldn't associate. And for me, I love our association. There's so much value in it to me. But I kind of do have trouble always explaining without just being like, oh, man, we win a ton of team awards and stuff, which really wasn't the purpose of us getting together. And it's really never been the true purpose, but it's just like this cool thing that we do. But in any of your guys' mind, what is the purpose of a jiu-jitsu association?
Well, I think for us, first and foremost, everybody in the group is pretty close knit, and we're friends first. And there's all the decisions that are made on the team don't just come from me. Everything is put out to the group, and we make like joint decisions as a collaborative, or you know what I mean, or a collective, I should say. And I don't know. We have it's like a family vibe for us. Like everybody enjoys getting together, being together, competing together, coaching one another, helping each other. To me, the value is the family and the group we created, and all the friends we have and the friends we've made literally all over the world at this point. Yeah, titles are nice. Titles are great. It's great for the gym, great to show. It feels great to win the titles, but we have people everywhere. You know what I mean? And it's a good feeling to represent a team and our logo and our flag, and we all represent it with honor, dignity, pride, respect. And I don't know. It's hard to put into words, but I'm very proud of this team. I'm honored to be part of this team. You know, we have so many awesome human beings on this team from so many different backgrounds, lifestyles. Like, I don't know. It's hard to put into words. Kyle, Andy, you want to help me out here? Like,
Yeah, like, I was kind of independent for a couple of years, but Jared and I had been friends for a long time, and we trained together a bunch. I got to like witness his leadership and always leading from the front and being able to really motivate people. And for a while, I was like, no, I don't need any of that. I'm building my own thing here. But then, once I kind of saw what he was kind of creating, and then a few buddies had already joined tag team before I did, And I talked to him just about like, how are you enjoying it and what are you getting out of it kind of thing. And what I've noticed is like, how like just within your own small group that, competes or trains together, or even the whole gym, how much you rally behind them and you support them and you get excited, as excited for their wins as you do your own. Well, then it turned into like an extended part of that where now you have that same feeling, but for people all over the place. You're just like, you're celebrating like when Jeremy Brick wins Euros, when you celebrate, someone else winning this. And then it's like you have this extended, like, man, I get to, be a cheerleader for a whole bunch of different awesome groups, awesome people, like you said. So it's just a lot bigger than just your own little home base, So that was one thing I really thought was awesome.
Mine was, meeting Jared was one is, personalities mesh. And Jared was no bullshit. He's gonna, this is how we're gonna do it, and this is what we're gonna do, and I loved it. And my thing with the association, what I like is it's bigger than what you are at your academy. I'm talking for Sabens Martial Arts Academy. Like we have something like, hey guys, we're here Sabens Martial Arts, but we're TAC team. It's a bigger picture, something we strive for, and it's the comfort too, because I have guys, we're fairly close to St. Louis, so people, they'll go over to cut, and it's like they have that instant comfort, like, oh, it's another TAC team school. They feel welcomed already, coming in, and that's what I like about it. Everything that Jared and Kyle mentioned as well, just that camaraderie that you have, and it's awesome. It's a cool thing.
Yeah, and and it's a great point. Like, I don't micromanage anybody. I'm actually pretty low key. Just like Andy said, Sabens Martial Arts, Watson Martial Arts, Head Nod Squad. You know what I mean? You guys are your own schools. You guys are your own businesses. Like, I'll never tell anybody how to run their business or what to do with their business or what to do with their martial arts school. And I'll put this out there for everybody too. I don't care. We don't pay association fees. You know what I mean? I'm not getting money in my pocket to fly our flag. That's what makes this really, really special, is that everybody who's on this team wants to be on this team, and their feet aren't being held to the fire to join this team or stay on this team. Everybody who is on this team chooses to be part of this team. And no one's getting raked over the coals for unnecessary association fees. Yeah. No one's forced to bring me in for a seminar. You know what I mean? No one's forced to put money in anybody else's pocket. To be part of something bigger than yourself is awesome. You know what I mean? To be part of this collective is awesome. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a different vibe, and it probably is different than a lot of associations out there. That it's more of like, if we want to bring somebody onto the team, it's not a me decision. It's an everybody decision, which makes it even more special. That Kyle hit me up. Yo, we got Parata, we got his crew in Kansas City. I want you to meet these guys. I want you to talk to this guy. Derek Ripley. I want you to meet this guy. I want you to talk to this guy. Let's meet up with him. Let's talk to him. Let's collaborate to make sure that he fits on the team, or we're having on the same page, and then bing, bang, boom. Then we're all together. You know what I mean? Which makes it cool. It's not a one-person show. It's a group show. Yeah. And that's what's, you know what I mean? I talk to all you guys on the regular, which makes it cool. I don't know. Kyle, did I miss anything there?
No, I don't think so at all. And even like this last weekend was a perfect example. It's like, we were just kind of casually talking about, hey, we got a couple people to promote. You guys want to just do it at an open mat, like a big open mat, so we can just make it a little more special. So there's a lot of people there. And we barely advertised it. And like I said, there's like 120 people there. And it's like Jared, when you put it together, the big team days, like so many people show up just because they want to be part of something like that. It's just like, the one we did last year, I think, what was there, like 83 black belts. It's insane. You know what I mean? So it's just cool. Like when it's just like, you can just be like, hey guys, we're getting together as a group. I want you guys to meet people from our like kind of affiliate schools, come out, get some good training. And the vibe was cool too. Everybody was trained hard, but it was still such a friendly atmosphere. I had so many people come up afterwards and be like, thanks for doing this. This is so awesome. And just being able to collaborate is so cool. The vibe's awesome.
even in our small area, you guys have both been to Carbondale. It's not big, but between, we call it the Route 13 Tag Team Day is what we do with my Sean Thompson, my black belt, and Clint Hooper. And,
That's cool.
we'll have 70, 80 people show
cool.
up. And that's, for down there, that's huge. That's big time.
Yeah.
And that's amazing, and I'm so proud of what we've grown down there and what we're doing, it's good.
And we're building still, which is cool. Like we got the whole squad in Korea now, a huge group in Korea, Guam, Japan, Saipan, that all, like everybody knows that we're all out there, but like it just keeps building. And the whole crew in Korea, that wasn't an overnight decision either. Berto from Purebred Guam took a group of the black belts who run the 2 purebred schools on Guam to Korea. Met with the head instructors there, went to multiple schools there, vetted those dudes out and made sure everybody was on the same page and we weren't making any rash, quick, harsh decisions to bring anybody in. So it, like, Berto went on a mission, flew to another country to make sure everything was, good. So that's cool, man. Like, I don't know. We're getting off topic here, but
that's okay. That's super cool though.
Yeah.
That's part of us growing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That really is.
yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, it's just cool. I don't know. That's a tough question because I don't know. It's a team that started in 2013 and it blew up and here we are and we're still doing good. Knock on wood, everybody stays healthy. Everybody keeps working hard, and just, doing our thing. Focus on jiu-jitsu, focus on each other, check on your teammates. I always say that, make sure everybody's good. That's what we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Jared, I know you got to get going, but anything you want to say to these guys, to people, to finish?
I love seeing you guys.
Yeah, man, this was an awesome surprise.
Yeah, dude, that
Josh
kinda
was like,
changed. I was like, oh,
Josh
shit.
was like, hey, I got a little surprise. It just happened, just right now, and I was like, oh, cool, good to see your face, man.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
I asked them if they wanted to know the surprise or they wanted to just be surprised. And Kyle jumped in a second. It's like, we want to be surprised on the podcast.
And I was like, wait a minute here. I don't know. Wait.
I thought it was
That
gonna be
was cool.
something way more uncomfortable, but
I look forward to seeing you guys in person soon. All you guys, keep up the great work. Let's just keep rock and rolling. Stay healthy. Make sure you, everybody, if you haven't got it yet, make sure you go out and grab Sabens' book. All right. It's a phenomenal read. Andy, they can get it on Amazon, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Sabens' book. All right. I'm doing a little push for Andy here. Unsolicited push, by the way, unsolicited push. And if you want it,
code Jared at checkout.
yeah. And then if you want anything with Kyle's face on it, I'm sure there's some old Ultimate Fighter DVDs floating around out there at Best Buy somewhere. You could probably go get some of those. We got funny stories about that, right, Kyle? I love you guys. Keep working hard. Stoked. Thanks for having me for a few minutes in here. I didn't mean to crash your party.
no, it was awesome.
Thank
Glad you did.
Yeah.
And then maybe one day we'll do a giant, like, I Suck at Jiu-Jitsu tag team squad live podcast and just cause complete mayhem.
That sounds like a plan.
Get Parada here, get all those guys. Oh, it'll be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be great.
We'll be ready.
Oh yeah.
All right, boys.
Good to see you, Jared. See you, Jared.
All right, see you guys. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Yo, so I got a new gi. It's really, really sick. Datsusara just sent me their fun gi number 2 and has a color stitching that I've never really seen before. It just, the gi looks really cool. The obviously whatever artist they had design it took special care on this, and it's just such a unique design. I have worn it twice now, and I have probably gotten 20 different comments on the gi. Everybody's like, hey, why is this shiny? Can I touch this? Can I put on your gi top? Can I choke you with this a little bit? And so it's definitely been the talk of the town. Only problem I had is I trained in it the other day, jump in the car. It's like one of the last nice days of the year out. And so I got the windows down, jump in the car, still gi on, still sweaty. I got leather seats, no big deal. And I'm going to drive home. And on my way home, I ended up having to roll up the windows because women were literally just trying to jump in to the car because they were so impressed by this Datsusara gi. And so if that interests you, if being, the coolest looking person on the mat interests you, being in one of the most comfortable gis that there is interests you, be sure to check out Datsusara. Be sure to check out dsgear.com and use promo code I suck at checkout, and you'll get 10% off of your gi, your backpack, whatever you want from them. But be sure to check them out.
That was definitely
That was awesome.
surprise, Josh.
Got you guys, right?
Yeah.
Right? The old Jared
Yeah.
intro.
That was super cool.
What-
That was
Right?
not what I was expecting.
No.
Like I said, I thought it would be something way more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
It's gonna be something I'm gonna be like, I don't want to talk about. this.
Did one of you guys tell him that we were going to podcast?
I remember telling him.
Okay, I was
I
going to
did.
say,
Yeah, I told
you guys gave me that look of like, no, I didn't tell
Yeah,
him.
no, I told him
Just say-
we're gonna do a podcast. Watson and I are doing a podcast over it. I suck at jujitsu.
It would have been such a Jared move to know without any of us telling
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
he snuck in and
What a
got
creep.
yeah, he got login information for the show's Instagram when he was here, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll just check on. Oh, look, they got. I'm a member of the I Suck at Jiu-Jitsu calendar. They seem to have Kyle and Andy scheduled right now.
weird.
Yeah, I'll wait till 9 a.m. and text Josh and say, "Hey, get me on, get me on." I'm like, "Well, I can call you." He's like, "Should we do FaceTime?"
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we'll do
Yeah.
FaceTime. You got me.
cool.
I got worried when I saw 10 minutes left. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
You got to shut him down.
Yeah, got to get rid of him. He had to get. He said he gave me a time window. He's like, I can. It was like we're doing a live show, man. He could call in for a certain window, and that was it. And then also my credit cards expired on Zoom, so
nice.
that was free account Zoom right there, bro.
yeah.
Good
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. Oh, so stop looking at that. He's like,
Yeah.
"Don't look at
No,
that."
no, I was just.
Yeah,
It was
looking
finally.
at the screen,
It
like
was
someone's
done.
just
Something
pop
else
up.
on that.
It was done recording, and so I was like, or it was done saving the recording, and so that was all I was doing. You guys need to take it easy.
Well,
Yeah,
Kyle and I have been through a lot of stuff together. I'm nervous of what you're
You
gonna
two,
spit
it was
at us.
interesting. You two seemed to panic when I got Jared on for a second. Is it like
We're in trouble.
it's Jared? He's gonna make fun of all of us, but
That's
that's
true.
just his
That's
love
true.
language, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is. It is.
So, the actual plan for me to start with you guys was we wanted to talk about really, I mean, the idea of reclaiming the mats, right? Of coming back from an injury that is, it's interesting in jiu-jitsu, somebody will have a 6-week injury and they'll quit jiu-jitsu, right? They just fall out of the rhythm. But then you go like, and I think for us, it's like, oh, that's not even understandable. But when it's a 6 month, when it's a year injury, when it's a year injury that lingers on, you can see why somebody would be like, I just can't do it anymore.
Or those people that get injured a lot. Like, those ones that get so frustrated. They're like, I just came back from something, and they get injured again. And it's just like, I can't keep doing this. Especially if you're like Family Guy or like your job requires you to be like really present and uninjured, obviously. For those people, it makes it really difficult.
What is, for both of you guys, what's the most significant injury that you have ever had in jiu-jitsu?
You go first because I got to think about it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely what I
hand.
went through in 23. My neck,
Yeah.
because I'm still dealing with it.
Which would have been, what was the specific thing that happened to your neck? Was it a specific moment? Was it degenerative?
I remember the specific. It kind of all led up to just shelf life of my body. I've trained over 30 years. I was a police officer for over 20, wearing a vest and a duty belt. SWAT team member for 8 years of that, wearing a tack vest. So just bear down weight. And then, just a lot of not listening to myself and working through the injury, just being stubborn. But where it specifically happened was, from that August of 23, that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to start competing now. And I was going hard, just not taking breaks. And I remember where I was doing a private session with some prison guards, and they were, obviously those guys are huge, and we were doing side control escaping, and, I kind of felt the tinge, and it was nothing that I haven't felt before, just that little pain you feel. And then I went again that Saturday. That was on a Thursday. It was a Saturday after that, and I trained real hard with one of my blue belts who's, good, now a purple belt. But I remember in a position, he had like a Chimera trap on me, and I was escaping out of like a back position, and it was tight.
Yeah.
And not anything to sub, but just, I remember after the round was over, I stood up, my whole arm went numb. And I'm like, So I sat out, you know, it was just really weird. And, you know, I'll lead you up to how all this kind of happened and how I, you know, found my injury. So that was on a Saturday. Went home that night, and I had, you know, Francine's, she's a masseuse by now, how many times she's had to help me, but she was doing like a, you know, deep tissue on it. And I was like, you know, just to kind of work out that kink. And because it was still hurting. And I remember when I knew something was messed up is when I stood up, my thumb involuntarily twitched once. Like popped, and I'm like, you know, that, okay. So the following day, I was going to bring my son. He wanted to go fishing at the river. So I wanted to bring him over to Cape Girardeau. And I was like, okay, I'm going to load my bike up. You know, I do a lot of mountain biking. So I was like, I'm going to do some jumps and stuff, play around, and then I'll take him fishing. Well, driving down to Cape Girardeau, it's about a 45-minute drive from Carbon. I remember I went to scratch my left-hand middle finger. I couldn't feel the tip of my finger. And I'm like, well, that's weird, you know, and nothing significant yet, but very little pain. So I get down there and I start, you know, riding on my bike, jumping a little bit. About my third jump, when I landed, it literally felt like my hand was going to fall off the handlebar. So I loaded up the bike, took him fishing, and then that day just, you know, I started feeling like, you know, kind of when your hand falls asleep is kind of the sensation I was getting. Where I knew there was a problem was that Monday morning after that Sunday, my alarm went off and I went to reach my phone and I couldn't pick up my phone with my left hand. And then I started moving my index finger, my whole hand would move. Like everything was, I was like, oh, shit, like something. And then it just progressively got worse as that week went on, just that shooting pain going down your arm. And it was weird because it wasn't my whole arm. Like you would think if it's a neck problem, it's going to zap your whole arm. But it was literally happening like right on my forearm and just hitting these two fingers. But I couldn't move these, you know, everything. It was just so weird. And it just progressively got, and I dealt with it for probably, you know, tried to hide it. You know, I didn't tell a lot of my students for probably 3 weeks before I went to the doctor because you're just hoping
it's going to work itself out.
And it didn't. It didn't. It was bad.
That sucks.
Yeah.
What was the diagnosis from the doctor?
Well, when I went to the ER because I was taught, and I knew there was a problem because my good friend who trains jiu-jitsu, he's an ER doc, and I was texting him about it, kind of playing it off, and he said, dude, just go to the ER, we'll get you checked out. And when I went to the ER, he was on duty, so he checked me, and I remember he went in, he did the test, you know, he had me grab his hand, and I grabbed, and I couldn't even, and he, you know, kind of looked back at me like, oh, he goes, this is pretty serious, man. And that's when you're like, oh, shit.
Mm-hmm. You're like, are you sure, doc?
Yeah, like,
are you sure?
And then
like
we did, you know, we went through,
live.
I did a CT scan. Clearly, I got bone spurs, all that stuff, as we all probably have. And then he called the on-call neurologist, and they said, let's get him an MRI. So we went and did that same day, so I was able to get everything going quick. And I remember what was kind of scary, because they did where they put the IV in so they can, I forgot what they call it, where they want to see, well, anyway, whatever. So they left the IV in when I did the MRI, and I came back, and, you know, I'm sitting in there, and, you know, the nurse is coming in. I'm like, hey, you know, you guys going to take this off? And she's like, no, the doc's not wanting to yet. Oof. So I'm like, shit, what's going, you know, so then a neurologist came in and kind of started explaining kind of what's going on, the severe herniation that I had and what's causing nerve problem. And I think they were considering at that time surgery, because he was telling me, he's like, you know, we're not going to do anything because I don't want to cause any more inflammation, because at that time it was still just flaring real bad. So they released me, and then that's when I, you know, did my follow-ups. And my doctor referred me to Barnes Jewish because he even didn't want to touch it. He's like, this is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But what it was actually, it was a severe disc herniation at the C6 and 7, which smashed the nerve at my C8 and T1, which caused, they call it cervical radiculopathy, and is what messed up with my hand. So, and I think what was different from what made it so bad for me was I didn't have an outcome. You know, you blow your knee, you blow something, you get, you know, whatever the time frame is now, 8 to 12 months, you'll be back to resume activities. I saw 3 neurologists. Every single one of them said, well, it could be next week it comes back. It could be a month. It could be 3 years. It could be never. You know, so it's like, you know, so that was where, you know, when I started getting those diagnoses from, you know, this is the top of the food chain doctors. I mean, when you're a brain doctor, to me, that's like, okay, you know your shit. And then they're telling me, I don't know when this is going to get better. You fall into a little hole So that's where it really hit me and was scary, because I had no outcome.
Of course,
I had nothing to say, hey, I'm going to be better at this time or what. So
That's rough.
yeah, it sucked. Bad.
Yeah. Before we go back to your answer on the question, let's stick on this for a second. Like, what was the point where you said, like, hey, was there a point where you go, oh, this can be an outcome, this is the new goal for me, this is, where were you looking at, again, this is kind of going off knowing you, and going like, how your mind will work, and like, okay, this is an obstacle, I will, I'll beat it. Where's your mind at in that?
It was bad for a while. I mean, probably a good month of where just literally I'd go to, because again, I was trying to hide, and a lot of my senior students knew because they had to help me with, I couldn't grab a lapel. I mean, I literally couldn't open a fridge. I couldn't, your clicker on your car to unlock, I couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
So it was literally, and it actually went in neuropathy for probably 2 months where my hand was kind of curled. I mean, I still have atrophy just from the muscle loss, but it was one day I was watching a podcast, or it was a YouTube clip of a podcast with Ryan Holiday's a Daily Stoic, and he was kind of talking about a Stoic named Epictetus, who was talking about how, the power and your strength all comes from knowing that you can control certain things and you can't control other things, which goes deeper into the fact of how you react to it is basically the whole philosophy of Stoicism. And it just, sometimes when you're injured or something, you're always looking for that, what's going to help me?
Yeah.
And that it was like, wow, that clicked, so then that's when I started getting into journaling. I started doing that day because I couldn't physically I couldn't run. I mean, I was at the point where if I'd take my walks, like every time I'd step on my left foot, I'd feel so as a constant reminder, and not only of feeling that, but not being able to do things with the hand, and I needed something. So that's when I, got into journaling a lot. And then, I started researching how to, doing a bunch of decompression. That's when I was using my neck hand. I mean, I had a routine, Josh. Every day when I'd get up, it was probably 3 hours of my, stretching, my physical therapy stuff. I'd do flossing exercises, all sorts of stuff. And then, my journaling is what really helped, just to kind of try to take your mind off of it momentarily, which was, the motivation for doing my book is like, man, because that's what most of it is just kind of daily writing down of what, and it really helped. And then when it kind of all, came to help after about, this is probably 8 months in. And then I started not feeling the numbing. That went away, but the weakness was still there. And I was like, oh my, I'm getting somewhere, and then that's when my doc over here at St. Louis said, okay, because that's what he was hoping. Because I think it was going to be automatic surgery if that numbing and tingling didn't go away. Because the pain was gone, mind you. I felt no pain. It was just a hand. And when that went away, I started seeing slow. And I remember when the progress was, because when something's injured, you're always trying to use that hand to try to see if it'll start working each day. And I remember I was out in my garage using a leaf blower one day, and I clicked it on, and I'm like, like, oh my God, it's
I'm
like,
back,
yeah,
baby.
it's like, wow.
I'm back.
It was to the point where I could not hold a 5-pound dumbbell, where now I can hold a 50-pound. But it's a limited time. I maybe got about 8 seconds, and then my hand will just kind of give. So, and it's going to be, I think, forever. It'll be like this. But like my doc said, we're not going to, because surgery's 50-50.
Yeah.
And even, you don't know. And my buddy who's a ER doc even told me, he's like, man, shy away from it, especially at your age and if you're not in pain. Because he says, I can't tell you the amount of people that I see coming into the ER for complications from neck and back surgery. And I'm like, because the way they would have to do it, they got to go in from the front, it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
And then you hear stories of, for the nerve issues I have of what they'd have to do. I've heard a story where a guy went in for the same thing and they nicked another nerve. And what it ended up being was a saliva gland in his mouth. So he had to, for the rest of his life, he has to walk around with a spit cup.
Oh my
because
gosh.
he involuntarily, can't control the saliva. So
That's
it's like
crazy.
You go in for one problem and you get that fixed, but then you create another. So I'm like, what my doc over at Barnes said, if it's not inhibiting your day-to-day activities, you're fine. So I'm like, I can still train, I can still hold the lapel now. I can crack a beer can, and everything's good to
important,
go.
Yes,
So it's like,
those two things,
but it's just it's changed. I mean, it's one of those you always look at. Again, how you react to thing, that whole stoicism, and I think it's made me a complete better person, a better approach to my jiu-jitsu and martial arts. Period. It just makes me think more instead of using my athleticism and just go with the go. And it's been, it's been a good thing to go through this because it's really changed me.
We got to get a hold of that journal.
Yeah.
And I want to see what's in there. It's like
You can hold it against him.
Dear diary.
It's tucked away.
Josh smelled wonderful again today.
It is my wife doesn't even know where it is.
That's a good call. That's a good. It's just
She
yeah,
does.
yeah. That's a good call. It's mostly it's just all negatives. That's what helps me. Is
Today I drew a smiley face on my hand to make it look like a Cartman mouth.
You actually could with it. Yeah.
Oh, so on topic.
That's right.
So when we were at Mark's 20-year anniversary, and Bryce would not leave you alone about breakdancing, he was trying to get you to further injure your neck.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, and here did I tell you guys the story on that? That I actually I won a trophy. I won a second place on a breakdancing competition.
Number one.
Tell me
I don't believe
more.
this unless
Tell
we
me
see
more.
pictures. Unless we see pictures.
Well, this was before that time.
Do
I was younger.
breakdancers have nicknames?
No, I never had one.
Okay.
I never had one, but I had a little outfit and a little routine I'd come out and do. And I grew up in a small town in Paris, Illinois. It's central Illinois. It's one of those hold your breath through the town. And they had this. I remember the lessons were in the basement of the hospital. It's called Paris City Breakers. So you'd go in and learn how to. So they had this. It's their. All these small towns have their festivals. It's called the Honeybee Festival. Well, they had a breakdancing competition. I think I was, I don't know, maybe second, third grade or something. So it was the era where Michael Jackson coats were.
Oh,
things.
yeah.
So I had the red one. And I remember
did you have a glove?
No,
No
I didn't
glove?
wear the glove. No,
Okay.
no. But I did have a dog leash because we had Muffin.
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 I know Muffin real
So
well.
my dog leash I wore that was like part of my thing, and I had a whole routine. I got second place, man.
All right.
So it's,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
I
The
wish
things
I had that trophy.
you wouldn't know about Andy
Yes.
Sabens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dang. Wow.
That was legit.
Where did you do any other breakdancing competitions?
That was my only one.
That
I was
was-
one and done.
But then
It kind of went out.
Yeah.
It's coming back around, I hear.
Yeah.
I hear it's coming back in sound.
I think it would have shocked everybody if you would have pulled that out at Mark's anniversary.
So, with your current state of your hand and nerve issues, would you ever bring it back? Would you ever bring it back like on a podcast per se?
I mean, I could spin the rock. That's like one of the moves. I could do that. I wouldn't want a backspin. I wouldn't want a head spin. Obviously, I used to do that. Was like my finish.
Ooh.
And I'd end, and I'd kind of be at like a little.
Oh,
So
man.
I wouldn't want to do anything like that. But nah,
I need to see pictures of this trophy. And did you wear like any kind of like hammer pants or anything?
No, man, I can't. I think they were like a parachute pants.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
those?
yeah.
It was parachute pants, a Michael Jackson red coat. 'Cause I remember. It was like a cool thing back then. And then I remember I wore Muffin's dog leash. That was
Oh, Muffin.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Tell me about Muffin. Why is Muffin?
We probably shouldn't go there.
Here we'll just the small. So we're in Philadelphia, and Kai, you know how Kai always comes up with his little name your stripper name is your first dog in the street you grew up on.
Yeah, I've met Kyle.
Yeah.
I've met Kyle.
And I said, we were having a good time. This was at the party, and I said,
I've met
mine's
Kyle.
Muffin Chestnut. So it just went south from there. As you know, Kyle took that and ran.
Every person you interacted with from there on out
They all knew about
Muffin,
Yeah.
Muffin Chestnut.
I may have had a few cocktails. I don't know.
So that's how
Muffin
that went
Chestnut,
down.
yeah.
That's such a Kyle move.
Yes.
That's the most Kyle move, to be
Muffin.
honest.
Yep.
Yeah, that is. Do you guys give me a story from one of you guys that involves the other? You guys have known each other. You got great things.
God, dude.
We got a lot.
Give me something. What reminds you of the other person when you think about
muffin.
when you were driving? When you were driving here, what story were you thinking? I hope this story doesn't get brought up.
Man, it's because I mean, I met Kyle and god dang, because this was
at
at
each other.
90. It was when because I was with Jack at that time. I was with the Terre Haute crew, but I'd go to Champagne sometimes with you guys. So it might have been 99 because I remember we'd go to because we did our blue belt test together with Megaton as an impy at the me because I think Bobby Brown was your partner and Magic Pat was in there and a bunch of us. But gee, I mean it's there's always
I mean, this is more recent, so we might as well talk about it. But oh yeah, why didn't you wear your shirt? You forgot your shirt.
Oh,
God damn it!
Yes, he made.
Anyways, so we went to we recently went to Texas, right? And he's wearing this thing. He's wearing
It's
this
yellow.
he's wearing this like reflective yellow shirt. So I'm constantly just like, oh, he just got back from the construction site. You know, it's like, I mean, this thing is like literally like glowing. Like, but no, the funniest part though, this old guy comes up and starts showing him pictures of like, it was basically the same shirt,
road bike,
but like sleeveless, like kind of asking his opinion. Do you think, this would keep me safe riding my bike because it's so reflective? Because he saw his shirt.
So it's a Dixon shirt. It was a Christian Hosoi, special brand of it. And it was bright yellow. And right when I put it, and what's funny is, when I put it, I'm like, man, Kyle's probably gonna have something.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, man.
You think
came
about
out,
that before you.
like, avert your eyes. Avert your eyes. I
Whoa.
can't see.
Turn that thing down, but it was good.
But see, that's too wholesome of a thing to end with because that's not even that great of a story. So we should probably talk about
Our mix.
no, not our mix.
playlist?
No, we can't. I don't know what you're allowed.
I don't want. That's a.
What you can't. No, the mix not. What you're allowed. We won't use names, but you can talk about your old police stories,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Okay.
So I asked him.
How much time we go?
We got as much time as you guys want.
So I asked him what his craziest arrest story was. And he laid it on me. Listen to this.
And it didn't even take a second. So again, I'm not going to say names, even though the dude's a sexual registered predator. I'll get sued for defamation.
Telling the truth.
Yeah, you don't get. But so I said, oh yeah, definitely. I know it was a domestic I went to.
He didn't even skip a beat.
Yeah,
I asked him what his
where
craziest arrest was. He's like, oh, I know right away.
Where the son was sleeping with his mom. So. Here's how it went.
Right, it's funny.
It's no joke, man. This is cop life, baby. So we show up over, and the family's kind of slow. The dad's kind of with it, but he had health issues, and he would always be in the back room. So we show up, right when we go in, the first thing, it's just the whole house. It smells like cat piss because it's seen all these. Pieces of crap. They always had cats, and they let them piss everywhere. So I walk in, and there's just. The person we ended up arresting just bleeding like everywhere, and I'm like, what? We're all, what's going on? And then the other brother comes out and goes, he was fucking mom again, and we're like, so we're all kind of like, what? So immediately I get, after we kind of finally call my supervisor over, and you're going to need to come on over here. So he came over there and he's in there scratching his head, and we come to find out, yes, why the domestic happened is because the brother caught the other brother having sex with his mother. So they started, they pushed, come to shove, they fought. And why he was bleeding is because the brother took a shower curtain rod from the shower and smashed him over the head with it during the fight. And so I'll get to the hospital part here in a second. So when I went, and the dad would always stay in the back room. So I went, you go interview him. I was talking, so what, I'm like, what's going on, mister? Is this, and he goes, oh yeah, he's been sleeping with her for months. I'm like, okay.
That impression is great.
Holy smokes.
So we ended up arresting him, for that and domestic, because he ended up pushing his brother before the other brother smashed him in the head with the.
Okay.
So we get to the hospital, and my good buddy is the ER doc, and so they're putting staples in his head, and I'm kind of sitting there just watching it, and I'm like, hey, my buddy, and I was like, what is that hard to do? Because he's doing the staples, and he He goes, Andy goes, put those gloves on. So I'm like, the nurse is in there. She kind of sits back, and because you're not gonna say no to the doctor, and so I'm putting them on. And he goes, come here. So he gave me the gun. And I'm sitting there, and he goes, now you're just gonna press them just like a staple gun. And he goes, yeah, you just pull that little trigger. And I was like, oh, is that it? He goes, yeah, go ahead and finish. There's like 12 of them. So I'm just,
my gosh.
yeah, he let me.
You spelled your name.
So that was a memorable story. That's what I wanted him to tell because I remember I was trying to think of like when I've been laughing lately, like a lot, and I was laughing a lot. But you know how
I have no follow-ups. I have no follow-up questions.
Show's over.
I don't want to know more.
I tell people all the time. I think it's funny. Like I've got like a lot of crazy stories, but you know how I always bring up like, hey, do you have your face tattooed on another man's body? I do, but now I think that's crazy, right? But he has literally like stapled the head of an actual motherfucker. You know what I mean? So that's pretty wild.
Yeah, that
so like, he kind of trumped my good story about the tattoo. So.
Yeah.
So we joked about that a lot last week.
Yes,
That's like so when you call someone that, like,
like,
you're really
you really think about when you call someone a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, are they really or?
No,
Are you just saying
because I
that?
know one.
Yeah, that is not defamation. You cannot be sued for that.
Wow.
That is true. Holy wow!
Oh, there's tons of them.
Oh my gosh! What else you got for me? Lay something else on me.
Well, there was because I was thinking of one that I didn't get to share this with you because we're too busy doing our mix.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, so, yeah. You brought. I didn't mean to cut you off, but we did make the sweetest mix. What did they call it? It was called the motherfucking mix 2026. That's right. So we're having drinks. We're having drinks, smoking cigars on the patio, and we're like, let's just make the best like mix ever. So it's got classics like medium pace Adam Sandler. It's got WAP on it. It's got Wheeler Walker Jr.
Yes.
It's got the Flamingo song on it.
It's got the
Yes.
Flamingo
I
song.
knew
Yeah,
it.
you knew it.
I knew it.
It's got
That was
Effort
my
Gently
first
by
hearing of
Tenacious
it.
D.
That was
Oh my
great.
gosh.
So we're just out here, just these bangers, just kicking it on Mark Redding's patio, smoking cigars, drinking, just like, man, this
And
is
we're
the
just
life.
into it.
Yeah,
Just
waving to the neighbors.
Yeah. So that was fun, but I didn't mean to interrupt your story. But,
No, but yeah.
The point is, sometime we should share that mix with you guys. And if you
Yes.
want to do any kind of lead in for the show or like outro, or it's a
Any
pretty
of
good,
this
it's a
would
pretty
be
good
good
mix.
work.
Yeah,
Any
we
of
should
them
just
would work.
make sure
Any.
that list is public on Spotify.
Yeah.
Throw a link in the description. People would love that.
And another because this kind of shows how how weird policing can be. So there's this cup. We used to get domestics is like 9 out of 10 calls you go to. And it was during the early part of my career, like probably between 01 and 04 when I was on a midnight shift. It was Eric Perry and Olivia Young. I can say their names because they're both dead. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
So they would always get in domestics, just knock out. I mean, you would show up, you knew it was going to be a bloody mess. You're like, God, so... But we'd always try to drive slow over there because your hope was one of them would leave. Then you don't have to rest and deal with them because they're always drunk. And then you just do the report and go about your way.
But he waited too long,
Yes.
and they both were dead.
Close, but holy cow. So I'm kind of peeling over there, and I was like, come, Olivia's walking, because the call was they're having a domestic, and Eric says he got cut. So I'm like, great, what the fuck? So I show up, Olivia's walking out. Kind of stepping out. She's all drunk. She's like, he's drunk and I fucking stabbed him. And I'm like, Olivia. I was like, you did not. Like, so she sits. I have her wait with the other officer. I'm like, let me go in and check on Eric. So I go in there, and it's cat piss smell. It always
is.
So Eric, drunk off his ass, he was sitting there. He's on the dining room table, just going, that fucking bitch stabbed me. And I look over and, dude, there's a steak knife stuck in his neck. Stuck in. So I'm like, because it's dark. I'm shining my flashlight. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, Carbondale, get the medics over here. So I go and I'm looking at it, and it looks like imagine take a knife and you stick it in Play-Doh. How it's just weird. And so I'm like, holy fuck. So yeah, he literally did. So the funny part is she literally stabbed him in the neck. And she admitted, and it's always cut dry cases like, Olivia, did you do it? Yeah, I fucking stabbed him. No hesitation. It's like, okay. So you arrest her. So I'm at the he obviously gets carted off to the hospital. I take her to the police department to start the processing. About 30, 40 minutes in, my intercom from the PD says, Officer Sabens, you got a call from the hospital. I'm like, what the fuck? So I call and answer, and it's one of the nurses. They say, hey, Eric wants to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, get on there. Hey, Eric, what's up? And he goes, what's going to be her bond? I'll come up there and get her. He's going to fucking bond her out.
Wow. Wow.
What
I was like,
him.
loving
Eric.
husband.
Wow.
So,
You
yeah,
notice
that's just
any of his impersonations, you could tell everybody involved was messing around. You know what I mean?
They lose their
straight
teeth.
out of that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
dude,
Got
it
no
just-
teeth.
the folks you see. And what's fun is because during your career, it's just because you're going call to call to call to call. It's funny you get, after it when you're done with that shit, you sit back and like reflect on it, and that's when these stories come up, and you're like, oh my god, like I dealt with this.
That was
crap.
crazy,
Like,
yeah.
God damn, man. And that, they're just. It's daily, and you do the job for 20. And Carbonell it's not a Mayberry. That's
The last time
problems.
last time I was in Carbondale, and look, I'm from Granite City, so
God's good.
you understand where I'm coming from. But I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed with it. I was, I like the people at your gym specifically, but besides
it's a sad demise of what happened, because the town, it was, it used to be, when I first moved there, I think it was 94, there's 25,000 people and about 26,000 college kids. It was, now I think that, they say the population's 20,000, there's no way. And the college, maybe 11,000. It's just sad. Just poor management, poor leadership, but...
And it is, man. I'm actually still waiting for a table from 7 years ago for Applebee's, waiting for them to call me back at the Applebee's in Carbondale.
Well, it's closed.
Okay.
Oh,
So it's probably not going to get that. They're probably, our call ahead seating was not worth it then. They told me like, oh yeah, give us 30 more minutes and we're going to text you.
That's where we ate when you fought down there.
Oh, really?
With Robbie
Applebee's?
Lawler and Fury. Was it?
Oh, yeah, the cage one or whatever?
Yeah.
That sounds like a great refueling spot.
Yeah, I think that's where we went to eat.
My wife was competing then, and she had just weighed in, and we were trying to get food, and we had ended up eating at Walmart because everything
Like
was
a
that was
Subway?
the service that was just
Just
like whatever
the
food we
snacks.
could. I think she got a rotisserie chicken probably, and then whatever other food we could manage. And somebody tried to fight me at the Walmart. I swear. Out of
Nice.
nowhere, just tried to come up flexing on me, and I'm like, okay,
completely
I guess
believe it.
I'm fighting these two guys, and I guess Emily and I are fighting these two guys, and they kind of walked away. It was fine, but I was like, I don't love this place. I don't think I'm going to come here very often.
Yes.
It's no offense, no offense.
It's sad.
My wife, like for some reason, like just despises Applebee's, and so we always like have a running joke of like when we're trying to decide where to eat. Like I'm always like, oh, let's go to Applebee's, and Reed's like, no, and I'm like, you don't even know, you've never even been there. You're just going off of Mom's. Well, here's the thing, Mom also doesn't like Cracker Barrel. What? How un-American, right? So,
I had
anyways,
Cracker Barrel yesterday.
yeah. So I pick my son. He's like, he loves to go out to eat with me, and we just chat about things in life and whatever. And I'm like, dude, Mom's not with us. Let's go to Cracker Barrel. We go. It's like an hour before closing or whatever. And we have breakfast at like 8 o'clock at night, like biscuits and gravy,
gangster.
pancakes, all that stuff. Whatever. He loves it. And you just immediately see in his face, what else has my mother lied to me about?
Yeah.
Because she said, this is terrible and we love it. So I'm like, now we should probably just go check out Applebee's just to be safe.
You're like, hey, my son, let's light up this cigarette. Like Mom lied to you about everything.
I haven't been to one because it's been closed for a while, and it's just not, when I'm ever out of town, I'm not thinking Applebee's.
Yeah, my dad, my mom's been out of town for about 2.5 weeks now in the Philippines, so he's getting lonely. I was gonna drop my son off to him, and he calls me in the morning. He's like, "Hey, what if we all just went to Cracker Barrel tomorrow or this morning?" I was like, "Okay, that sounds like why?" He's like, "I don't know. I just thought it might be good." And I'm like, "Okay," and so we made a morning of it and. Great experience.
Yeah,
Always.
how can you go wrong? And you have like a nice little country store that you can shop in too, like a little gift shop.
Sit in the rocking chairs.
Yeah.
Their breakfast's off the chart.
It's my go-to day after a tournament when you do stay the night, like, and you're not, there's not a tournament, but you have to drive home. It's always the go-to because you're going to run into one, right? You can just jump on the road, drive for a couple hours. You jump into a Cracker Barrel, eat, you're sick, drive the rest of your way.
Hey,
you
could. I mean, what if? Think about how that sounds, though. I Suck at Jiu Jitsu podcast being sponsored by Cracker Barrel.
Think about if we did an episode live from a Cracker Barrel.
Ooh,
that would be. And just got
chairs.
We got hot takes from Cracker Barrel, just whatever people are mad about, not even jiu-jitsu stuff.
Yeah, just anybody, just like call up some old fogies, like, hey, what do you guys think? They'll be like, what are you whippersnappers doing?
Yeah,
like,
all
hey.
the hot takes are going to be about me being brown.
Yeah,
They're going to be like, you shouldn't be here. You know, like, hey, this is called Cracker Barrel for a reason, buddy. You need to head. It's time for you to scoot. Like, sorry, Grandma. On the hot takes note, big news.
What is it?
Big news.
What is it?
If you get on you guys have cell phones?
Yeah, I've seen them before.
You have okay. So if you get on your old cell phone, people your guys' age will get this.
Okay.
There used to be they're like numbers or they're letters on each number, right?
Right.
And you used to like try to spell things.
Yeah.
At the end of a commercial, 1-800 get clean.
Yeah.
And one, there isn't a name for that, or at least ChatGPT doesn't know like when you acronym a phone number. ChatGPT
I have my
doesn't
gym
have
numbers like that.
but it doesn't. What is that called when you do that?
Oh, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. ChatGPT doesn't know either. But with some weaseling, with some AI, of course, if you dial 951 hot take, you can leave a voicemail on the hot take hotline now for the I Suck at Jiu Jitsu show.
like it.
And so anytime something's angering one of you guys, you can just, if it's a student and you feel like naming them specifically, you can just call, vent, and then we'll talk about it on the podcast at some point.
Is banging their mom.
Yep.
You call that in.
Yep. Everyone, please report any case of incest.
Yes.
You are a motherfucker. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's but yeah, hot take hotline.
Wowzers. All right.
Things
That's
are getting
cool.
Yeah, things are
heating
getting pretty
up.
serious.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
People like the hot takes. People like. Do you guys have any hot takes? Do you guys? Is there anything that angers you? You guys are both pretty chill.
Man.
Not anything funny. I don't know. I don't get too bent out of shape. Are you saying in
Wait,
jiu-jitsu or
wait,
just in
wait.
life?
But okay,
That's
So-
two
Yeah,
things.
be more
either
specific.
way is fine. But I was gonna say you there are certain things in the jiu-jitsu space that
Me?
yes,
Okay,
that
tell me.
really set you off. Like
Grinds
for
my
instance, one of my guys went to your seminar at
The
Alton
red, the
Elite.
red gi?
No, at Alton Elite.
Okay.
So not my red gi guy.
Okay.
I think I sent 2 white gi guys
Yeah.
there, and one of them was telling me like, yeah, he really got fired up about it. He was like a newer guy too. He's like, I really got fired up about like something. I didn't really understand what it was like, but he seemed really like upset. And I was like, it was a positional thing. He's like, yeah. I go, oh, it was like quarter guard, quarter mount in the name of it. And he's like, oh yeah, he goes, that wasn't it. He goes, but he mentioned that too. He I'm like, yeah, that's one of Kyle's talking points. Kyle's always mad about it should be, I don't know, it should be called quarter.
Call something else. Yeah.
Yeah, what is that's a perfect hot take for you.
I mean, it was just like quarter guard. I don't know. It's not a thing. It's like you have like one of their feet trapped. You can't call it a guard if like you literally can't do anything. I mean, I guess there are things you can do, but I just like I don't know. I just think it's stupid. Like
What should it be
some
called?
names are dumb. I don't know.
You gotta have a name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But I want to know what he thought I was mad about.
I don't know.
really wanna
That's what you were so
I don't
mad
even
about
really
it.
remember getting amped up.
Man, I don't know. There are just certain things that, I mean, red gi guy is a
Yeah.
perfect example.
No, but I'm trying to think like that night what I was amped up about.
Red. Who makes a red gi?
Head nod HQ.
It's all red. It's all red. I've never seen it.
It's wild.
Like we're talking like cardinal red.
It
like,
is as red
Wow.
as it's as red as you could get. It is.
I mean, even the
I think
lapels.
And I think the stitching we did on that one is white. I think, or maybe even blue. We really wanted to go AJJ on it.
Okay.
I have a white one with red stitching that looks really good. But yeah, we were like, we're doing the color options, and Adam sent me like, "Do you want to do a red one?" And I was like,
I think their Corral. Remember that?
Oh
brand?
yeah, they
Yeah.
used to have
a red
that's
one.
right. That's right.
That was a great company.
Yeah, and guess what? I don't think they are around anymore.
No. That's
Coincidence?
Yeah. It was the red key.
"Yeah, you're right."
Man, this is gonna bother me the rest of the podcast that I don't know what I got fired up about at that seminar.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll ask. I can ask around.
Find out.
Yeah.
Let me know.
I think the only thing that gets me fired, like I'm thinking, I try to think because it's in class. Like if, again, I don't expect it, and don't look at me like, oh, you're the best. But when I'm teaching a move, shut up.
Shut up. Oh yeah,
That was
that's
what
good.
I was gonna say. Stop
Yes,
talking.
because
Yes.
it's like,
Oh,
I mean, it's happened a couple times, because a lot of times there'll be people mingling from the class before, and they're sitting over, they don't realize how loud they're being. It's like, come on, you kind of look at them, and if they still talk, but that frustrates me. And the other thing is like when you're showing a move that I'm not teaching. Like, well, it's like, especially if it's like it's rare. It hadn't happened in years, but it did a while back. Is I'd show a move, and then one of the senior guys are with someone else and doing it a different way, and show you could do this or that. It's like, just stick with the program.
Yeah.
Just stick with the program.
Just
but
do-
that's few
yeah.
and far between. But the talking,
That
I
drives
get
me
upset
nuts.
with that.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like
get
I'm like
upset with it.
hypersensitive to that. Like I feel like I hear everything that's kind of going on. It's like last night I was teaching. I could like hear the squeaking. I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I stopped talking for a second. It was just the heavy bag was like swaying, and I was like, or like somebody's phone will go off and it won't stop going off. I was like, I just feel like I'm gonna stop until someone goes to get that.
Do you ever make an example of people though when they're talking?
I have like Champ talks a lot while I'm talking, and sometimes I want to be like, just hey, you want to come and show the next one?
That's
or
good.
call them
That's
up,
good.
but-
I like sarcasm, but for some reason that's something that it's annoying to me. But I'm more assertive on that than most things. And so if someone is talking, I always like to look them in the eye and say, "Hey, shut up."
Yeah.
And then I continue with no break of face at all. I continue to show the move. The room is
then they're
so
like, "Ooh,
quiet.
shit."
I'm gonna use that.
Everybody is like, "We're listening, Josh. We're listening." And I'm like, "Hey, other people are listening."
Yeah.
That's why, I mean, it has nothing, maybe you do have some value to the person next to you that you're saying to, but you're not the only people here, And so
You
that's
got to keep the quorum of the,
Well,
the
some people like
structure.
some people
You gotta-
like they blame it on their ADD, but and I love Champ. He probably is going to listen, and he's probably going to listen to this, but he's the worst as far as talking during class. But he came in my office the other day, and he was because I've been on a little lately a routine of like switching partners every single like time we change scenarios. And he doesn't like that, so he came in and talked to me about it or whatever. And I said, I'll take it up with HR, But when we went into class, he was talking, and I go, "Hey, man," I was like, "Hey, listen, I'll make you a deal. I won't make you switch if you stop talking. Like, if you can go a whole round without talking, I was like, I won't make you switch to the next one." But he's failed most times. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Love you, Champ.
I get that. I get that. That's one that can be annoying.
I'm trying to think what else.
How do you guys feel about people refusing to train in the gi and only doing no gi?
I'm okay with it. I mean, I have people that are like that. I just always encourage them to. I don't know. I think it just depends on what their goals are. You know what I mean? Like if if they just want,
You want to suck? Don't train in the gi, right?
I just think you should be more well-rounded, and it's like, and then I think it gives you the better ability to fully be involved in the gym. Meaning that like, there's some people that really like the gi, there's some people like really like no gi. If you do both, you're gonna get to interact with more training partners, get to go with more people. And then there's of course the argument of like what the gi, the hindrances, but what it also gives you as far as like different attack options, different problem solving skills, what have you. So I'm just very encouraging for people to train both. So I'll just be like passive aggressive about it. Like, it's like, oh yeah, if you want your jiu-jitsu to be like okay, just keep training.
And mine is it doesn't matter if you do one or the other, but just don't knock the other that you don't
Yep.
do. You know, it's like,
Totally agree.
because there is value to, but like I have a student, he's an amateur fighter, real good, and he's a tough kid striker. He's, working on his jiu-jitsu ground, and he does just no gi, obviously, because of the MMA, but he started doing the gi, jumping in, and, last night I was talking, it was like a little different in it. You can't like slide out a stage, like, and but he enjoys it. He sees the value in it. But the other side of that is I hate when people think, like, well, the gi, it just doesn't seem like it's practical, like is in self. I'm like, what do you, like, who's running around out in the street with rash guard?
Yeah.
More, they're usually a jacket, pants. Actually the gi is more self-defense oriented, and realistic as the no gi. But to each their own, everybody's going to gravitate towards their enjoyment. So,
Well, yeah, to that, I know that's not like a real scientific study, but I just thought it was interesting. I watched a video the other day of, I can't remember, it was one of the popular jiu-jitsu YouTubers, but he was doing a test of like, he had all his students wear different kinds of clothes, and then they saw what the submission rate was. Now, again, that's not like a real, study, but it was interesting how like no-gi was like the least amount of submissions. I think a hoodie was like the most, and then there was like several in between. He said that, and then, like somebody wore a tie. Like there's just all these different things. But I think that's a cool test to just like see, kind of like what you can grip and what you can use. But I do agree that it's like, you're not. I mean, in his line of work, he might have to fight a naked guy, but most of the time, it's like I have
many times.
that's a good story too.
But I just feel like it's not super realistic. But if you're gonna fight, if like some people that want to do MMA, they're more like, well, we're not wearing the gi. I can see the argument a little bit, but I still think gi guys are better grapplers, or not. I mean, guys who do both are better grapplers. So.
Well, and it's too. You look at the authenticity of jiu-jitsu. It's in the gi. For promotion wise, how it is at my. Because I remember, one of the things that's always stuck with me is when Shrudo gave me my black belt. He's like, now you just know you hold the integrity of the art now. Because you're going to pass it on, and that always stuck with me. And that's because I have several guys who don't do the gi but do just no gi, and dude, they're probably purple belt level. But sorry, man, you don't train in the gi, because that's the only way I will. I mean, I know that's not the only reason people get into jiu-jitsu and for the promotion, but that is a thing. People want that. And
well, it's the idea of like what are you participating in? I've said this to him several times coming up, because just the whole when I used to be at Hughes' gym, people would always ask me what belt rank Matt was. But that aside, it's like if you're not doing the art, how can you expect a promotion in that art? Meaning, like, so, I've used that analogy before. If a Muay Thai guy goes into a Taekwondo academy, and let's just say they do a full contact fight from the feet, and let's just say the Muay Thai guy beats the shit out of him, does that mean that he's a black belt in Taekwondo? No, because he isn't doing the art. It's like you should only, if you're going to be belted, you should be belted in whatever you're doing, right? So it's like you can't say yes, Matt Hughes can beat up a lot of black belts because he's very strong, very good wrestler, knew enough submissions to be very dangerous, good ground and pound, but he wasn't doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so you don't just get a black belt.
Yeah, very good point.
I think I heard Greg Souders say something along the lines of Jiu-Jitsu is the art and grappling is the action. And because you think about it, we do learn Jiu-Jitsu, but when you think about how much wrestling there is, especially in small town Illinois jiu-jitsu schools, and how that becomes part of the culture. There really is a style of Midwest jiu-jitsu that if you go and train on the coasts or compete a lot against those guys, that you go, oh, it's different. It's a different style that these guys are doing than the style that we do. Ours is a little more hard nosed. And, you see that and you go, well, that's because we're willing to take whatever we can from any other grappling from people that we know. A lot of us, that learned leg locks before 2017, learned them from Sambo guys, right? And it was like, well, these are the people that know how to attack the legs, even though it wasn't us learning jiu-jitsu in that sense, right?
I know who Andy learned most of his leg locks from, but we won't go into that subject.
No. Okay. Okay. All right. Tell me about the naked guy that you wrestled, Andy.
Yeah. Let's just go
Tell
right
me
to
about Tell me about greased up.
So
Was
that-
it
yeah, it
greased
was-
up deaf guy or greased up
No,
naked
this
deaf
was
guy?
it's called Turley Park. It's kind of in the center. It's actually kind of by my school. And this was it was one summer we got the call of there was a guy bathing in the fountain. They had a fountain.
Is this is summertime? This
Yeah,
is okay. It's
yeah,
warm.
nice weather,
Okay.
pretty nice weather. So we're walking up, and he's just there, doing his thing. And I remember my sergeant time it was Mark Diedrich, great guy, and learned a lot from him. He, we're standing there just like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, oh, just bathing. So clear. You start. I mean, not even 2 words. You're like, okay, this guy's out there.
Yep.
So he exited out. He got out, and he goes, and he's like, well, what are we gonna do now? I was like, well, you're gonna be under arrest, for disorderly conduct. So he puts his hand, and so we fight with him right there. What's crazy about it is there's like a little daycare center that is there. So that's who called, obviously.
Yeah.
So you get them, they're all out the window looking, and we're here
You're waving,
scrambling
get
with this
inside,
guy,
get inside.
and it's hard. He was wet, had some soap on him.
greased up deaf guy.
Yeah. And he had just finished shaving his whole body.
But we got him.
You got it.
Yeah.
Nice. Andy's like, guys, I got this.
Yeah.
Stand back.
Can you put this in?
I've been waiting.
Can you put it in technical jujitsu terms for us of how you
He's
were
like,
to
this is my time to shine.
Double leg, cut the corner, got side control.
north south?
North
South.
Killed him over with the key lock.
No big deal.
Yeah, it was just another day.
Holy
It's
smokes!
crazy
Yeah.
because the guy kept trying to lock him in 50-50.
What are you
He was
doing?
leg locking you.
Kept teetering back.
Yeah. He pulled guard immediately, and I was like,
Damn.
That's what I
got a
expected.
guard puller here.
Yep. That's what I anticipated. The jiu-jitsu mats are really gross. If you really think about it. I try to not think about it. I've actually run into this problem of writing commercials for my friends at Sports Hygiene. It's so hard to write commercials because if I just really am honest with people and we all just sat for a second and we think about how gross the jiu-jitsu mats are, we marinate on that thought in the same way that we marinate on all of the body fluids of our friends. And then you hear about a product from Sports Hygiene. You hear about their product, Full Guard. And you hear about this idea of hypochlorous acid and how it can literally kill ringworm, it can kill staph, and it is good for your skin biome. And this idea that there is a spray that you could literally spray on in between rounds to protect your body from the grossness of the jiu-jitsu mats is unbelievable. And it just so happens that they love the I Suck at Jiu Jitsu Show and want to give a promo code to you guys, and that is promo code I Suck. And so at checkout, when you are getting your case of Full Guard to just douse your body in because of how gross the mats are, be sure to use promo code I Suck at checkout. Let's get back to the episode. So just back to your story. I don't know how we got off into all the places that we were, Andy, but back to your story. You now have this diagnosis. You're doing 3 hours of work a day on this injury and trying to rehab it. But you're also still training?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm back on them. I pick and choose, but I still go. I still train. It just, tap early, if something's there. And a lot of my guys, but I hate, I don't want to hinder my students, because I'm not one of those, and I hate that people do it before you roll, like, hey, man, can you kind of watch my show? It's like, well, dude, don't roll then.
Yeah.
If you're hurting, because how it always goes is then they start rolling with you if they're doing good. Then they pick it up. It's like,
yeah.
oh, what happened to that shoulder? So
I'm back,
hate,
baby.
And I'm like, oh, it's better.
Yeah.
But I'm just not that guy. And so I'll jump in with it, but if it's getting to a point to where it kind of hurt, then I'll just tap. And my students know, obviously, they know but I tell them, like, don't, and I've been doing it long enough, I can protect myself. I'm not going to, get injured any further because I'll tap quicker, so I still go though. I still train a lot, and I have, Dustin Neese trains at my gym, and he actually had neck surgery, but we train a lot together. That's who I do my striking with because we both know each other's issue, and we could go at a good tick and train pretty hard.
That's cool.
But as far as ground, no, I'm still doing it. Still jump in there. I mean, even at team day when we were out at Mark's promotion, not team day, but I trained. I did almost every round. It's just, but I didn't pick and choose. I never tell anyone. Like, hey, you watch my neck. 'Cause, again, I hate that, and so I'll just jump in and go. If they get on it, then I tap. But I'm still going. Still, I don't. There's certain things I don't do any overhead lifting because they said no on that. I don't run anymore because the jarring.
Yep.
So my car, I do a lot of, I still rock climb. That was amazing to be able to still come back to that because that's a passion. And my mountain biking. Those are like my two, outside of the martial arts things that just bring me my happiness and other things to strive for. And I'm able to do those. So because that was a heartbreaker too. One, doctor's telling me I might not ever be able to train again. I had one of the neuros say, you might have to give up jiu-jitsu, but then thinking I was going to lose, being able to rock climb and mountain bike, it's, that's hard. So I'm able, pretty much going full force at everything, just very carefully.
Yeah. That's
very carefully.
For you. Was there any physical things that you did that seemed to make the biggest difference? Any recovery things, anything like that?
Man, the biggest is so every morning I still do it to this day. I have a neck decompression pillow. I put it on right when I get up, pump that thing up. It just relieves from the night of sleep. Do that about 30 minutes. And also the savior for me is a neck hammock. I don't know if you guys have heard of this thing. It is, you attach it to the door, you literally lay on the floor, you put your neck in it, and then you scoot back, and it just stretches. And it's, oh my God. One of my chiropractors turned me on to it. And what was so weird is when I was having the tingling and stuff, when I would get on that thing, it would go away.
Oh, wow.
It was doing something. That and the other big thing that helped me that I'm a firm believer in now is dry needling. And working that to help just keep, because I have my range of motion back, and that's what the chiropractor I hooked up with, Stephen Blandford in Marion, amazing guy. Was the first in that region to do dry needling. I mean, as a chiropractor, I probably went and saw him through my injury time to even now I occasionally go probably 30 times. He's cracked me once. He doesn't believe in it. Yeah, he doesn't believe it. He believes in the muscle and really working posture. So that's another thing because what do we all do? We all kind of sit and that wears on, and that's the big thing is him helping me with he gave me exercises, therapy stuff, and he said the big thing is like, Andy, posture, just to build back that strength, because he said the herniation ain't going away.
Yeah.
The only way those get fixed is surgery. He says you just gotta, build back, and and the hand, he's like, sucks. I'm probably at about 75% strength with it now, and it probably I think I've hit a plateau. Where I'm not feeling any more progress, but I'm able to go with it and deal with it. But man, as far as I know I got off, but the neck hammock was that, and I do inversion table, and then just a series of stretches that I still do every morning.
All right.
Keep me ticking.
That's cool, though. That's awesome that you were able to just find a routine that lets you continue to live your life.
Yeah.
Yep. What is, for you, what is the difference between now being full-time and running your school that way and not having a second job?
I just wish I could have done this all along.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's just because you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a pension and, everything, and that's great. And, I gained some great experiences and things doing that. But, man, do it when you're truly doing what you enjoy doing. It's it's enjoyable. And it's just, fun, man. I don't know. I'm ecstatic, and it's great. Like I say, I wish I could have had this, back, not been a cop and been able to do this my whole time, and what could have happened, you never know, but it's great. I love it. Enjoy going every day. And just like I say, seeing the progress of the students and now just my effort, because, when I was doing, 40 hours a week as a cop and running I'm sure they sensed it in me too. Yeah. Some nights you're like probably just going through it, but now it's like even days that I'm kind of tired, I'm so like, man, I want to be here.
Yeah.
This is fun. This is a good time. So it's great. I love it. Love doing it.
That's really cool. Kyle, you got a good injury for me?
Yeah. I've had all the normal stuff dislocations and broken ribs. Those are boring. I was thinking about it. I was like, probably the only one that's I guess unique is when it was from MMA, but I dislocated my thumb really weird. And it was like, it was one of my first few MMA fights. And I was so stupid back then. I didn't have any management, and it wasn't like I was like arrogant, like I can beat anyone. It was just like I was just down to fight whoever. And so my first several fights, like I'm fighting guys who had like, you know, over 10, sometimes, you know, a couple dozen fights, and I'm just like, oh fuck it, I'll do it. Nobody do whatever. And I fought this one guy, and it was a very God, I can't remember his last name, something like Kirk. But anyways. He had a ton of fights. He's very tough, stand-up guy. And of course, I was dumb, like not taking it to the ground much, but because I was like, I had been really into Muay Thai at the time, and I'm like, oh, I'll just stand up with this guy. So it was just like a banger, just knock down, drag out, and I went 3 rounds. I lost a split decision. Both of us were fucked up, but I had him in. I think it was in the 3rd round. I was like pinning him. We were doing MMA, but in a ring, so there were ropes and stuff. And I had him pushed in the corner. I had a hold of both of his biceps, and I was just kneeing him in the stomach. I had a hold of his both, but he threw almost like threw an uppercut while I had him like this, and it like my whole thumb dislocated and went like kind of up, like the back of my thumb went up on top of my hand, and I knew something was wrong, but the adrenaline was going, so I was like, oh, it's fine. So we finished the fight. I lost a split decision. Although the funny thing is, I got hit a lot, and I need him. So it's crazy because he hit me in the face a lot, but I need the fuck out of it. Hit his body so much, and I really thought it was a really close fight. But when I went to work the next day, like my face was so swollen, like both of my eyes were almost swollen shut. I was so puffy that literally nobody thought it was MMA. They thought I was in a car accident. And so I was in a sling, and like both of my eyes were almost swollen shut. But anyway, back to the thumb thing. The weird thing about the thumb is it dislocated, and it just like got like stuck like that. And so I went to emergency room, and they're like trying to manipulate it, and they're like, sometimes it just takes some time for the muscles to loosen back up and it'll pop back in place, and they're trying to manipulate it. It doesn't work. So they bring out this contraption. I've never seen anything like it. Sure. Yeah, they bring out this thing. It literally was this like they bring out this is a rolling thing, and it had these dangling metal coils that literally were just like Chinese finger traps. And so they're so they stick my thumb in it, and they're like, we're just gonna have to let gravity do it. So I stick my thumb in it, and when I release, it's like a Chinese finger trap, and it just holds it. And they're like, okay, now just let your arm hang from that, and we'll come back and check on you. So I'm literally hanging by my thumb for like 30 minutes. It was the most excruciating thing because like I'm not like on pain meds or anything. So they're just waiting for it to like relax. And I'm just sitting here like just hanging my arm by my dislocated thumb. Still doesn't go back in place. So they're like, all right, we're just gonna have to put you under and like do it like surgically. So then they put me under, and when I woke up, I was in a cast with a hole in the cast right here with a metal, like a metal pin. It had a little like a pigtail sticking out of my thumb. And so then I had to go back.
Well, what they do? Did
they put it back in place, and then they ran like a piece of metal through the track of your bone to like keep it in place. But it's just crazy because when I went to get it taken out, the guy's like, "Hey man, listen, I've had some really big, tough like football players like pass out what I'm about to do." He's like, "Because the thing is, when I pull this out, you're gonna feel like the blood like go into your bone. It's gonna feel really weird." And I'm like, "Oh, that fuck, I don't care." Like I literally thought, "Oh, I'm tough. I don't give a shit." But there's no like. He just literally got a pair of pliers out of the drawer and came back, and he grabbed that little pigtail, turned it, and just yanked. And then I'm like sitting there, and then all of a sudden, I started to get dizzy, and I'm just like, I'm like, whoa, like, and I didn't pass out, but I got really dizzy, lightheaded, and I'm like, oh my god, and it was the weirdest feeling. It was hard to describe when they pull the pin out of your bone.
like literally like a Russia.
Yeah,
like
it was so weird, so weird.
Dude.
Yeah,
but
I knew you had that.
I got the tingles.
So
on
that was
one.
like,
Oof.
I don't know if it's the worst, but it's like the weirdest. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I'm sure I've had more painful things, but
God dang.
Man, that's rough. I've actually never been injured. You know, I've never gotten any injury. That sounds like just a you guys type of thing. You know, I got Nick Sanders destroyed my shoulder one time.
Yeah.
You know, and then I passed out.
yeah, wasn't that like a sweep? Was it a sweep or
It was an
what?
overhead sweep.
Yeah.
I landed on my shoulder, and I tried to do the old walk it off, and then I can hear
Wait, wasn't I
Junior.
there?
Yeah,
No,
you were
I
there.
wasn't.
You were
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, you were worried that I was going to die. I think everyone was worried that I was dying.
Because I feel like I remember this.
Because it was, I mean, an overhead sweep at Watson Martial Arts, no subfloor. It is just concrete.
That's for the weak.
It's concrete and puzzle mats on the ground. You know what I mean? It is just it is like I might as well just be on the pavement. And so the question is like, well, did he land on his head? Is that why he's fainting? But it was what happened was I land on my shoulder, it crunches, and Nick is a physical therapist. He's like, oh, bro, can you do this? Can you do that? I'm like, yeah, I can kind of move it this way. I can kind of, he goes, can you pull it out in front of you? And I bring my arm out in front of me, and it just literally like the button gets pushed and it just drops. And I was like, oh, that felt weird. And he goes, yeah, I'm going to go get you some ice. Or, you know, something. He said something, right? Yeah. He was starting to get further away, for sure. And I remember being like, oh, man, am I dying right now? What's going on? Like, things are starting to close in. And I remember the last thought that I have is like, maybe I should stand up and walk it off. And the next,
I thought you said your last thought was I need to delete my browser history.
Yeah, that was I think that was the joke that I made. You know, I was pretty aware once I woke up from it. Right, I was totally fine then. But the next thing I remember is literally Junior going, "Bro, did you pass out?" And I said, "No." And my face is just on the mat. I'm face down. I'm all good. And then I'm getting rolled over. Nick's like, undo his pants. Undo his pants. He's like, you know, can't have any type of blood restriction. We're like, what? What are we? I'm like, am I dying? What is happening? Why are my pants getting undone? Why are you guys undoing the knot of my pants?
I don't think that's a thing.
He swears by it. He will defend himself to the end on that was the right move and it probably saved my life. But yeah, in that, I was like, you know, you guys are like, why did you decide to walk it off? And I was like, oh, you know, I just thought, man, I better, you know, if I'm going to die, I better delete my search history, you know? I better delete, you know.
I knew that sounded familiar.
Yep. I better just, factory reset this bad boy. And, didn't make it. Sorry. And, I was,
yikes.
Oof.
So what was the...
Who knows, bro? You got to go to a doctor to find that kind of stuff out.
There you go.
I assume.
That's my man.
I'm quite sure. I'm 99% sure it was a torn labrum, which I wasn't going to get surgery on. And so.
That's a long one, man.
Exactly. And it was such a immediate injury. It was like, this wasn't a long-term weakness thing. I'm like, maybe I can rehab it. And I was able to, in like 3 months, compete after that. And that was too soon. Yeah. That was my first black belt tournament that I did. I was promoted to black belt not being able to train that day because my shoulder was still so messed up. But that January we did Austin Open and took a beating that day. But it wasn't a shoulder thing, you know. It was just not being good enough thing.
That sucks.
Hey guys, Josh here. I've been getting so much good feedback from the Rob Bernacki Instructional Jiu-Jitsu for Imbeciles that we have been giving away for free. But I have bad news. We're about to switch the free giveaway from our friends at BJJ Mental Models. And so if you have not gotten Rob Bernacki's Jiu-Jitsu for Imbeciles, this is a conceptual course on learning Jiu-Jitsu, and the amount of feedback that people have felt the need to give me. I didn't create this course, but still to tell me how much it has helped them has been so interesting. I mean, pretty quickly it made me go, oh, this is something that I should start to pay attention to even more than I realized. People love Rob Bernacki's way of explaining jiu-jitsu. And like I said, this is the last time we are running a commercial for this course. And so the next free giveaway is about to change in the coming weeks. But for right now, you can still get your free copy of Jiu-Jitsu for Imbeciles at bjjmentalmodels.com/I-suck. And be sure to check the link in the description and get in on that free course. Let's get back to the episode. What thoughts do you guys have for somebody that is getting injured now? Like let's say specifically, you even brought up this personality type or this thing for people, Kyle. There are people that get injured a lot, and maybe it's not one big catastrophic thing. Maybe it's a lot of things that keep them off the mats for a couple weeks here, a couple weeks there, and it's getting discouraging. Do you guys have thoughts for someone like that?
I think it would just be like maybe having a sit down with them and look at like the factors at play. Because like one thing could just be that, you know, the person hadn't really done any other athletics, and then they jump into jiu-jitsu and their body's just getting turned and torqued in different ways they're not used to, and they might need to like maybe add some different recovery things in. They might want to add a small like weightlifting program in to strengthen things up. So that might be one thing. It could also be, obviously we know it could be ego. If somebody like just always like refuses to concede anything and refuses to lose, that could be things. So maybe talking to them about that and seeing their mindset, why they're doing jiu-jitsu, like what's their why kind of thing. And then I think it could also be then like the training environment, looking in the room and like who they're going with, because you know, here's a perfect example. I won't say the guy's name, but I have an older blue belt. He's only done no-gi at a different academy. He came to me as a blue belt, older guy. And I see him when we get to live. A lot of times he sits out, not because he's tired, but he keeps coming to the no-gi class that it is a super tough room. Like it's like all heavy hitters. And I don't really have any like lower belts that he can go with. And so I just sent him a message. I said, hey man, I saw you sitting out. I thought a lot about your training. And he sat up because we were doing takedowns and they're all like just brutes. And I'm like, I could see him getting hurt. So I understood his thing. So I sent him a message. I go, hey, why don't you do this? I know you've only trained no-gi. So you're probably like kind of a little adverse to the gi because you're going to feel like you're starting all over. But I was like, why don't you come to the fundamentals gi class for a couple of reasons. One, you'll have a much more of a variety and you will find people that are a little smaller than you, haven't been training as long, but you also have plenty of people that aren't spazzes. And then also as we get older, I think it's important to be able to slow the game down, and the gi allows you to slow someone down that's a lot more athletic and faster than you. So I haven't got a response yet, but I just sent that. And so that would be kind of like another suggestion is look at the training environments, like who are they going with? Which classes are they choosing? And then just kind of see if we can tweak it there. So I think those things, look at their physicality, right? Look at, you know, kind of their training environment, and then also just kind of find out like what their why is. I think that'd be a good trifecta of like kind of figuring out how to direct them, you know?
Yeah, it's, you know, and I think a lot of times saying it to these people goes in one ear out the other, especially when they're newer. And you always have that guy that, you know, it seems like every round he's getting hit in the nuts, or it's like, oh, my hand, or, you know, something. And, you know, I have a student now, he's very athletic, but it's like every open mat he comes in, his fingers say, yeah, I think I broke my finger. And then the next week it's like, oh, my toe. And I'm like, dude, because he uses his athleticism just to keep it. But where I'm like at the conundrum with this is somebody who has intensity, I don't want to slow them down.
Of course.
Because in the end, what are we doing? We're learning how to fight. It's martial arts. You know, this flow roll, this whatever. You know, that's good for those people that want to do it. But you gotta if you want to learn, you gotta know how to do it and gotta go fast. And so what I do in my gym I call it fights by agreement. Just make sure, you know, if like me and you, Josh, are gonna roll, it's like, hey, you want to do a harder round. It's like if you agree to it, cool. Tap bump and we go. We play harder.
Yep.
Other than that, just if it's someone, you know, if they say, nah, I just kind of want to, you know, kind of just move a little bit. I'm working this move, then respect that.
Yeah.
So that, I think, alleviates a lot of the people getting injured and people who are prone to it. I said, just, you know, have your guys you can go hard with, but just, and take you know, my biggest thing I tell my guys is if you get hurt, there is nothing wrong with taking a week off.
Yeah.
Just heal your body, rest. I think people think if they're not in class, they're missing something. It's like, dude, this is a journey, man.
This is a long journey.
Yeah, and you're going to get beat up a lot. You're going to beat a lot of people up, you know, and just know that, you know, and just take, you know, the process of healing. And I'm speaking this because I should have done this. You know, this is, you know, it's not like I was immune to that. I said, hell with it, pop ibuprofen. That's how it was back in the day. You're hurt, throw some ibuprofen in, you get back on the mat, you train. But that's what I try to preach to my guys now is picking and choosing your partners, who you want to go hard with. And if you're hurt, just take that time off. But again, back onto that flow roll, slow roll, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a fan of that. It's good to warm up maybe to get going, but man, we're training. You know, you're learning how to fight. And I get it. You got to protect people. I'm not saying go out there and just a free for all, but know what this is and what you're doing. You know, this skill one day might save your life. You never know. So treat it as such.
That makes so much sense to me too. I think that there's so many guys that and I mean, they do this forever, all of their jiu-jitsu, and you see it in like 40s and 50s where it really starts to change, is they marry their technique to their athleticism, you know, or their strength, right? And it's cool if your athleticism and your jiu-jitsu are like dating, you know, but it's better that they're just like, you know, the occasional hookup. It's better that they can remove each other, right? Because like you see it, life will remove your strength and athleticism from you eventually. And so then you go, well, now all these holes that I filled in my jiu-jitsu are filled with strength and athleticism. And as that disappears, I will actually notice myself getting worse at jiu-jitsu. And it's like, yeah, that's a thing that will make a lot of people quit as they age, I feel like, is because they go, wait a second, I'm actually getting worse. And like, it's not in my head. I am actually getting worse at jiu-jitsu. And a lot of times I think it's just being able to, and it's so hard when you are athletic, but being able to remove that early on and say, there are days that I don't need to use this. I always have it, right? I can turn it up when it's time, but I always look at it like it's so hard to actually notice that you're getting better in jiu-jitsu. But if you, in theory, if it takes you 100% strength and intensity to pass this blue belt's guard, if you did it with 50% strength and intensity, you technically got twice as good, right? You're that much more efficient. And so that to me is like always the thought process of getting better too. But it seems to be so much more important as you age. Guys, you know, you just don't pay that same tax when you're younger. You get to, you know, like freaking Jeff can train twice a day with no regard, never drill a move, just only fight to the death, watch videos and go, I'm going to hit this on white belts today 1,000 times in training. And you see that and you go, oh, wow, that's a great method if you can physically do that. You know, that works really well. But that's not the method that works when you have a family and you have a job that isn't jiu-jitsu. And even if you have a job that is jiu-jitsu, it's like, your training always is going to kind of take a back seat, especially as like a coach or just as a higher belt in your gym. A lot of times people waste your rounds asking you questions about stuff. And, you know, that's also, though, I guess that is part of just being able to stay on the mat too. Oh,
absolutely. Yeah, I remember Dan Asano saying with my Jeet Kune Do background, something that stuck into me is I heard him say this when I was very young and didn't really catch on till later, but he always said, he's like, you know, one thing you're never going to defeat is your age. And the second thing is every decade your martial arts is going to change. And at the time I hadn't even had a decade on, I think, when I had first trained with him. But after, you know, going through being in it for a while, it's like, wow, it does. Cause it's like, and he always would say too, like never, you know, dislike a movement or an art, you know, like that you didn't like in your 20s. Cause when you come into your 30s, 40s, 50s, you might like that. It might come back to you. It's how, you know, like I used to love Spider Guard. That was I hate it now because I don't want to be upside. I want to be on top.
Yes.
You know? So it's like, you know, that it always changes, and that's just with time. You know.
Dan Inosanto also said, "Always be ready to fight a naked dude in the park."
Yes,
and boy, did that true.
Wow.
You know.
Hey.
Yeah. I do have a serious question though. Like, what do you guys think? Sometimes this happens where someone gets like a serious injury and they're out for several months, and I always get that kind of hard decision of sometimes they're like, oh, I want to come and still watch because I think I'll absorb something. And I think that's good from the standpoint that you keep your routine, because if you stop your routine, then it's hard to get back in that routine. But then I see the point where a lot of people are like, I don't want to come because it just makes me, they almost get a little more depressed because they're just watching something they can't do. So I'm just curious what you guys' take is on when somebody's like, say someone's out for 6-9 months with an ACL or something like that. What do you usually tell them?
Well, for me, it's been hard because I was that depressed side of being there. Yeah. Of like when I was hurt, you know, going through me personally, I was like, God, this, like, man, I mean, it, like, I can't train like this, you know, seeing everyone else going, it's like, God damn. But oh man, I don't even know what. I guess just what's comfortable for them. Have, if they want to be around, if it is keeping in their routine, they're getting in, they're still getting to watch technique. If they enjoy that, like, hey, keep doing that. But I don't know if you're not liking it, you got to tell them I guess it's individual on how that's going to work. Cause that's kind of, I can't answer for the broad, but that's a tough. I know I had to be there, but it was hard. It was hard.
I agree though that it's got to be individual, because there are some people that really do, like, it keeps the routine for them, but then it's like the community aspect. They get to see everybody, and that's really helpful. But then some people, I've heard this with a few different students and just a few different people, they go, man, it really is depressing to be around jiu-jitsu. It's like, it breaks my heart to be around jiu-jitsu and not be able to train, right? And it's like, I think that is, and then you, on the other side of it, you worry, like, in a sense of, well, that guy not getting to be part of the community and then feeling so separate from the community can be hard too. Yeah. I just think, like, as a coach, how I look at it is we try to just keep reaching out to that person, but I think you respect that, like, one of my brown belts is a perfect example of this, has a neck injury, and I mean, really has not been able to train. And it's been 2 years of dealing with it and trying little bits. And it's this heartbreaking thing for all of us, because one of our favorite, me and Bryce were literally talking about, I'm like, man, one of my favorite guys, I hate that we don't get to see him. And he, it's just like, but there's also days that we'll message him and he works close. We're like, hey, we're going to grab dinner or grab lunch after noon class. You should come. And he'll, do it and still get to be a part of the team, even though he doesn't really get to be a part of the team anymore, And so I just think that, even for the guys that can't be around it, because that's how it is for him. He's like, dude, I get sad coming and watching everybody roll. That's what I want to be doing.
Well, I'll even have the guys, like, they'll get hurt and then they'll just stop coming and quit, and you never even know. And then I'll see them like 4 or 5 months later, like, man, where you been, John? Like, oh, dude, well, I hurt my neck when I was, training. I was like, you don't have to cut us off. So you get those people too. I've had that happen, but.
And I think a lot of people feel like some shame of, like, like, oh man, I'm letting people down by not being here, and they are. Like, it's important that they know, like,
bodies. Bodies there.
Gotta go. But it's really that it's not like, oh, we're not letting somebody down by not training. It's, oh, we miss this person. Like, that's the, and you, like you said, you do get that where someone will come to you a year later and be like, oh yeah, I quit. Like, you never really gave any explanation. It's something simple. Like, it's something that's, an injury, or it's something that just like, I just, I couldn't make Tuesday nights anymore. And like, well, you have class every other night. Like, oh yeah. But like, why didn't we talk? Why didn't you discuss this?
I think, like you said, it's the shame though. They're like, because I'm like that too. Like, dude, just talk to me. Like, I mean, that's kind of the business end that a lot of people don't see of stuff that we deal with. That.
Well, and that's what's hard too. If you don't have, like, a front desk person, you don't have a general manager. If you're the one dealing with pricing, you're building relationships with people, but then it's like, hey, this is transactional too. Like, this is also my business and my job, and it's like, I just think that it can be this tough battle of, like, oh, does this person actually care? Does this therapist actually care about me? Because I do have to pay per I pay per hour, and I only get 50 minutes, and then it's it ends here. Like, I don't know.
What they don't see is what they're paying for is all the years of training, of everything I've done. It's like, and I've had some people when they come in for a drop in, from other gym, and I'm like, it's just a $20 drop, and they kind of look at me. I'm like, dude, I'm a 4th degree black belt, been training 30 years, and I still pay drop. It's like, people have to, that's their business. This is their livelihood. And, it's not like your open mat means, oh, just come on in. Everybody and their brother can train. It's
like, dude, these garage bands, you should go and support them because you want them to grow, like, and that's
I just had these guys 2 nights ago, and my 2 members, I like them, so this is a knock on them. I don't even know if they would hear this, so I'm not, like, knocking them.
Oh, don't worry, nobody hears this.
But I was just saying, I was kind of astounded because, like, I was at a meeting with my assistant, but I can see through my door, and these 3 guys come in, and 2 of them are members, and one of them, like, he looked familiar, but I was pretty sure he wasn't a member, and they just walk by the desk and they just go upstairs. Well, a little bit later, I just hear this, because that blue room's above my office, and I just hear this boom, boom, fucking thudding, and I'm like, those guys are training up there. I'm like, give me a second. I'm gonna go upstairs and see what's going on.
I'm gonna go yell at somebody.
Yeah, and I go up there. Well, no, people are in there training all the time, but I figured it was those guys because classes hadn't started yet. So I go up there, and I see this one guy who is not a member, and I go, hey man, what's your name? And he says his name, and then right away one of the other guys goes, oh yeah, he. Because I was about to be like, are you a member? And he's oh yeah, he's just our friend. He goes, we thought it'd be okay. Like he doesn't do classes, but he just comes in and trains with us. So I'm like, no. I was like, no, that's not okay at all.
Yeah.
I was like, number one, if he gets hurt, that's a huge liability. And number two, I was like, you see this 10,000 square foot building? It doesn't magically pay for itself.
Yeah. Yes.
And then when I walked away, I was like, that's kind of rude. But then I was like, well, that's kind of a weird thing to just bring someone in and think, well, as long as they don't do classes, they can just train there. I'm like,
and that's the thing. Most people.
These guys are really nice, though, mind you. They just didn't know.
That.
They're young. They probably just didn't know any better. But
that's exactly. Yeah, like you say, it's just how. I mean, they just don't see that this is a business. You know, even though it's people look at it as fun and this is just a cool thing he gets to do. It's like, well, no, I got bills, I got insurance, I got to pay, I got time away from my family. I got curriculum I'm coming up. I mean, it's not like I'm just coming in and open the door. Hey, let's train.
Yeah. Well, there's so many hidden things too. It's just like, for example, and this isn't like good job, Kyle, but just like a little example of things people don't think about. And I told him this before. A lot of times people don't know, especially gym owners don't know that that your regular like insurance policy doesn't cover like special events.
Yeah.
So like that TAC team, that thing, just having all those people there, I messaged my guy for a quote, and he's like, well, wait, let me see, this might be covered. And he came back and goes, no, it's not. And it was $500 just to host that. So it's like, it's like there's all those. I'm just saying, there's a lot of little things like people don't think about that like kind of go behind.
Yeah, and I think I think that, and this isn't a generalization. I think that this is like specific people do this, but there are certain people who, when they go, I think sure it's any business they believe this, but when they go into your jiu-jitsu business, they believe this place was made for me, right? And like that's how they think of it. Like, hey, my opinion really matters here. And like when I was in high school, I had our principal. If you ever complained about anything, we had these blue trash cans all over, and he'd be like, "Yeah, there's these blue boxes. They're the suggestion boxes. Just write it in a note and throw it in there." And that was always his. That was like no matter what they would say, and that is like most of the time you're like, "Hey, I'm dealing with like hundreds of people, and you are voicing this complaint as if this is affecting everybody. It's just affecting you, you know?" And that is your lack of understanding that like, I don't care, you know, like it's there are hundreds of other people here. I have to, I make sure that they're taken care of, not your complaints, you know? And that's always the, like, there's this thing from Elon Musk that I heard where he was talking about how if you have one of the earliest indicators that somebody is going to be a bad employee is that they complain early. Yeah. And he's like, if they come in and have this should be done, this, and he's like, just that's the one indicator, like, you're not going to be a good fit here. And I think that that's the same when it comes to jiu-jitsu students, people that come in early and have a bunch of complaints about, this is how training should be, or this is how whatever should be. I'll have, one of my guys, or just, other people I'm giving advice to, talk about like, this parent says that this is, how jiu-jitsu class should be. And I'll be like, oh, what belt are they? I'm like, oh, they don't train. And I'm like, ask them. No, I'm not asking you. I want you to ask them next time, what belt are you? What belt are you in jiu-jitsu? Oh, okay. And then that's where the conversation ends, because there is no other conversation. Oh, you're not? Okay. Then I'll keep coaching. I'll keep doing what I'm doing. And so, it's this, it's just I think it's a weird mindset. It's not to say it's my generation, but it's mostly people from my generation that do it. That is like, I wouldn't argue, not that you guys are 1,000 years old, but I wouldn't argue that your guys' generation does that near as much. You're much more willing to just shut up and take it. Just true. Like my generation has some of the most obnoxious complainers, and you deal with that in the jiu-jitsu business. You deal with that, like all the people that I know that are my age that run businesses are like, I hate people from my generation.
I do have a way that I deal with it. Kind of like when you're talking about your principal, telling them about the blue boxes. The way I deal with them, people complain. I'm like, hey, man, there's a gym right down the road, Head Knot HQ.
Yep, that's
It's
good.
fantastic. You
That's
should check
good.
it out.
And they'll really hear your complaints. You
Well,
know?
and I always do, like every time, when somebody comes in for a drop in, because I always tell, a lot of people will come and say, I want to sign up right now. It's like, because I always find that person, they don't last. So I always tell, like, do the class, try it out, make sure you like it. And I even tell them, there's gyms around, go check it out. We might not be what you're looking for, and I think that's a big thing too, because then they're like, oh, he's telling me to go somewhere else to check. It's like, well, yeah, because I know what we're offering. I know, in our area, I'm the most seasoned. I've been around, done the most. So but maybe I'm not what you're looking for. I mean, I get that. Maybe we go a little too hard or whatever. That's just might not be something. So go check it out. Do a trial class at least. And then, because I want commitment, I'm not wanting the dollar. I want commitment. People to get there, get good, and that's how. Because the bodies in the school is what gets everybody good. That's what it's about. True. So.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. Honestly, that's like I think it's just so easy in the to not understand the other side as a jiu-jitsu student, to not understand what it's like to be a school owner. And this is like, none of us are ever complaining about it in like a woe is me. You said it's like the most fun thing you get to do, but there are certain parts of it that are really hard to deal with, that are, and what's interesting too, is then when you get to talk to other jiu-jitsu school owners, you go, oh, wow, we're all dealing with this. That's crazy. And you're like, I guess this is, I guess this isn't just me, I guess this isn't, and it lets you, I think a lot of times it lets you be like, okay, good, I'm not crazy.
No, it's at the highest. I've talked to, I've had a lot of good, high level guys at my gym, everyone from Bernardo Faria hearing little insides of Marcelo's gym down to, my little gym. It's like the same thing, just on a bigger scale.
It is.
A buddy of mine put it, good words, a long time ago. He says, running a gym, it's all fun until the paint dries. And it's absolutely, it's all excitement, but then, I mean, not that it's not fun, but still it's like it's work. It's still a job, and you got to run it as such, and that's where I think some students, that is, fall shy of understanding that I'm running something. I'm running a program here, not just showing up, having a good time with the fellas. It is fun. It's great, but I'm trying to accomplish something here.
Yeah, there's a lot more behind the scenes that they don't see happening. Yes. I never post like any negative stuff on Facebook. It's just funny though, because there's like there's a lot of times where other gym owners will post something, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm feeling you, man. I'm like, I wouldn't say that, but I absolutely agree with you.
They're complaining specifically about a student, and you're like,
I would. Yeah, well, it's funny because we all have a student just like that, and it's like the one person that would need to read this isn't. Everyone else is thinking that you're the complainer, but it's like, man, you just want to vent sometimes.
Oh yeah, and that's like, but it's also the thing of like, oh man, I'm glad I don't post my stuff on Facebook. Laundry. Yeah, on like this. This is my, this is the only answer that I have, is to go to social media and try to complain that way. I just complain on my podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
I just complain on the podcast and then have Bryce clip it, and then we'll tag that student in there specifically.
That one that needs to hear it.
Yep. Just so he can't get away from it. What else you guys got? Anything you got? We've been cooking for a while now. Any final kind of thoughts you guys have? Anything like that?
I mean, we came on talk a little bit, about your book. Obviously pumped that up. A lot of people don't know he actually has another book. He's not advertising. He's an expert in coming back from injuries, but he's also an expert on like skin disorders and rashes. So if you guys ever like have anything going wrong with you, just come show. No matter what part of the body it's on.
Just text.
If you see Andy at a tournament, show him any skin.
Have you ever seen anything like this? Like, no matter what part of your body it's on, show him.
He'll biopsy it.
He's either had it or seen it before.
We weren't going to talk about that.
Yeah, he has a book about it. What would be the title of that book?
Man, you're the one that comes up with this quick witty. I mean, that's your.
Yeah. Sabens Skin Encyclopedia. Right? That could be.
No, it's alliteration. Sabens Skin Sleuth. Like, He's like a detective, right? He's gonna find out.
And so it's written
Find out what is wrong with you.
It's written from the perspective of his assistant, who's writing in the same way that
You're onto something.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Sabens
And it's
Sleuth.
just
See, I
like
told you, he'd always
it's
come-
basically the Dr. Pimple Popper show,
Yeah.
but it's a book. It's like his
But
story of his life.
the funny thing is, I bet most of this book is already written in his journal, so he could just transfer it over. He's like, yesterday I saw Bob's inner thigh. It had something on it. I'm gonna find out what it was.
It tasted weird. Oh man, that's
What's wrong with you?
why even think about the first book when you've got the second book planned?
Encore,
What was
baby.
even the point of writing the first book?
It was just to get you interested.
Like maybe he's onto something. Let's check out. Sabens
Once you have a
Skin Sleuth.
bestseller, they're for sure gonna buy the second one.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So tell me about reclaiming the mat and the 30-day workbook. Andy.
It's a good book. I hope y'all get it.
Where do you go?
Can't follow that up. You can't follow that up.
I always tell this every time I go home to Francine after being a weekend or something with Kyle. I'm like, dude, it's just so fun.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like he just
Yep, that's
and he doesn't even get his humor half the time because he's funny and
Yeah.
a lot of times I don't think he means to.
Just
It
talking.
it comes out and it's
There's just something wrong with me, and I'm immature, like way immature. But
I'd have you no other way, Kyle.
yes.
I wouldn't change anything about
Yeah,
you, Kyle.
and like I say all the time
don't.
too, you get these little snippets of me. My wife has to deal with this every day of her life.
I could see that. I could see that wearing on somebody. I could see that. I could see that being a lot. I always enjoy my time with Kyle, but
Well, it's just that, like I say in Texas. I mean, it was just dying laughing. I mean, the whole time, just especially when you get some bourbons involved. It's like,
and our mix,
Motherfucking
motherfucking
Mix
mix 2026. Yeah, coming to Spotify soon.
coming to Spotify
just
soon.
wait.
Oh
Dude,
man,
how many? What do we have? 16 songs.
Something like that. I mean, that's what an album should have.
Yeah.
yeah. But this is a playlist. That's different than an album,
it's-
right? You need a little
And
more.
You just don't know what's next. You hear
Yeah.
one and you're like,
But I mean, it was
What's-
kind of like we chose that name like it was very intentional. Motherfucker was
Yeah.
like it meant a lot to us because of
Yes.
our previous story. You know what I
Yes.
meant?
That's a deep cut right there.
oh, it came out. It was just, man, we were just, once it started flowing,
We were cooking.
That's
And then
how
we had the Texas guys helping us out with what's that guy's the country guy,
Wheeler Walker
Yeah,
Jr.?
yeah. Oh man, have you heard this?
Yes,
guy?
I've heard of.
I'm new to it.
Yeah.
and I'll tell you what, I'm a fan.
Yeah, I'm a fan. yeah, I'll tell you what.
If I tell you,
Oof. Man, I'll think of some good songs to add. I think that there's got to be some good stuff. Andy, anything you want to say to finish on the?
man, I can't now. I mean,
Yeah,
that's-
I don't. What's gonna top
just.
book number 2 that was just?
It's not, I'm gonna leave her at that. And just thanks for having me on, man.
Thank
Cool.
you guys both for being on the show.
times.
This was a
Hell
blast.
Yeah, and thanks for the surprise with Jared. That was
Yes.
super cool.
Yes,
That was
of
cool.
course.
That was really cool.
Well, I think we're out, Bryce. I think I don't have anything else to say.